Hi, welcome to my channel. The full version of the audiobook is available on my Patreon. You can quickly find it through the link in my profile description. Thank you for your support.
Chapter 1: The Cheating Football King System. 2012, May 6. Barcelona, Camp Nou. In the 37th round of La Liga, Barcelona's home game against Espanyol is ongoing. This is Barcelona's last home game of the season and the farewell day for the team's legendary coach Guardiola. A total of 97,000 spectators came to this game, and the huge Camp Nou stadium was packed. Although the opponent is just a weak team and poses no threat to the powerful Barcelona, the enthusiasm of the fans is extremely high. Soon, the game turned into a performance stage for Messi. He used sharp breakthroughs and impeccable dribbling to firmly attract the attention of the audience to himself. In the 11th minute of the game, the opponent fouled Messi, who was dribbling the ball in front of the penalty area, and the referee awarded a free kick. Messi scored directly with a free kick. Barcelona won Espanyol. In the 64th minute, Messi passed the ball in the penalty area. Because he turned around too quickly, Spaniard's big defender Gómez couldn't keep up with the rhythm and couldn't stop the car when he grabbed the ball. As a result, his hand, the elbow, touched the football. The referee was nearby and clearly saw Gómez's handball foul. He immediately awarded a penalty kick and gave Gómez a yellow card. Messi took the penalty kick, and after deceiving the goalkeeper, the ball hit the post and bounced into the goal. The score on the field reached 2:00, and Messi scored his second goal of the game. 10 minutes later, Messi received a long pass from Adriano, quickly passed the Spaniards' defender and went to the meeting alone, scoring again and achieving a hat-trick. 5 minutes later, the Spanish defender number 22 fouled Busquets in the penalty area, and Messi once again stood at the penalty spot. He did not waste the opportunities created by his teammates, and scored his fourth goal of the game in one fell swoop, completing the incredible feat of 4. When Messi scored the third goal to seal the victory, the Camp Nou stadium was already singing Messi's praises. When he scored the fourth goal, all the fans stood up and applauded, cheering for the king of Camp Nou. Not only ordinary fans, but also the young players from the Barcelona youth team who came to watch the game were all conquered by Messi at this time. Messi! Messi! Oh my God, did you see it? He is like a god. In the youth team, Gerard Deulofeu, who also plays winger, was as excited as a child. He shook the shoulders of his youth team companion sitting next to him and said excitedly. Sitting next to him is a young player wearing the number 4 jersey of the youth team, with yellow skin and black hair and a handsome Asian face. His name is Lin Quan. He is 16 years old, he is the main midfielder of the Barcelona youth team, and he is also a time traveler. He was an orphan, adopted by a Spanish couple, and grew up in Spain. My adoptive father was once a professional player, playing in the midfield position. Under his influence, Lin Quan has been exposed to football since he was a child. Because of his good talent and the relationship with his adoptive father, he joined the La Masia training camp early and was trained as Xavi's successor. After hearing Deulofeu's words, Lin Quan nodded in agreement. Messi in 2012 was definitely the craziest year in his career. This year, Messi scored a total of 91 goals in various official competitions, breaking the world record held by Gerd Müller. At this time, Messi has speed, explosiveness, breakthrough, passing, organization, coordination, and is almost omnipotent. On the field, he is almost a nightmare for opposing defenders. When encountering Messi, who is advancing with the ball, apart from fouling, there is almost no particularly good way to deal with him. But it is a pity because of the fatigue accumulated from excessive attendance and the opponent's rough foul. As a result, Messi was injured many times in 2013. A series of injuries greatly affected his condition and prevented him from reaching his peak. Since then, although Messi is still strong, he has even become more comprehensive. But compared with his peak, his breakthrough ability has dropped a lot. But what does this have to do with me? I am a midfielder, so of course I am a novice Xavi who is observing the midfield. Messi is too evil, and the position is completely different, so observing Messi has no meaning for me. Lin Quan had just complained in his heart when a long-lost voice sounded in his mind. The system has detected a player that meets the criteria for a ball king. Should it be copied? Lin Quan was stunned for a moment. Is this dog system cheating? When he was 6 years old, he accidentally got a football champion system. At that time, the system only instilled some football knowledge and skills into him and then disappeared. In the past 10 years, he has been looking for ways to wake up the system, but has never succeeded. Just when he was about to give up and even began to doubt whether the fact that he got the system was real or an illusion, the dog system came back to life again. This surprised and delighted Lin Quan. Although he has always criticized the system as a dog system, without the help provided by the system, he would not have been able to get to where he is today. So after hearing the system's reminder, he was worried that the system would disappear again, so he immediately made a choice. Make a copy. Boom. In an instant, countless memory fragments poured into Lin Quan's mind like a tide, and scenes from the past emerged one after another. All that appeared were scenes of a small player breaking through, passing people, and shooting. This is the memory of Messi's career. Lin Quan immediately recognized this little player, who was running towards the king of Camp Nou, Lionel Messi at the Camp Nou stadium. Messi's career memories gradually merged with Lin Quan's own memories, giving him the experience of Messi's 8-year career. Memory modification is completed, body modification will be carried out tonight. The system modification is very unreasonable. The memory modification is easier to say and difficult for others to see. But body transformation is a drastic transformation, which will cause obvious changes to the players' bodies. If this was done on the spot, it would be easy for the teammates around him to see his changes, regardless of others. Therefore, the system arrangement is still very thoughtful. However, Lin Quan still felt a little nervous when he heard that the system was going to modify his body. To be honest, no one can deny Messi's talent. That is a top talent at the level of a football champion. Who wouldn't be envious of it? However, Messi is only 1.7 meters tall. Many of his talents come from his height. Does having Messi's talent mean that like Messi, he will stop at 1.7 meters? Hiss, this price seems a bit high. Please collect the new book and recommend it. Chapter 2 Peak Messi. Lin, do you hear what I said? Seeing his friend distracted, Deulofeu waved his hand in front of his eyes and asked with confusion on his face. Yeah, I'm listening. Lin Quan came to his senses and replied. Deulofeu looked unbelieving and asked curiously. What were you thinking just now? I called you several times and you didn't respond. Seeing his friend's puzzled expression, Lin Quan knew that this guy was out of curiosity. So I found an excuse and said perfunctorily. I was just thinking, how many goals can Messi score this year? Messi is Deulofeu's idol. When Lin Quan mentioned his idol, he immediately became interested. I guess there has to be a 60 or 70 goal, right? Messi scored a total of 57 goals in the 2010 to 2011 season, including 53 goals for the club and 4 goals for the national team. This season's performance is obviously better than last year, so there is a high probability that the total number of goals will exceed last year's. After hearing Deulofeu's answer, Lin Quan smiled and shook his head. Gerard, isn't Messi your idol? Why are you so conservative in your predictions? Conservative? Deulofeu looked confused. 60 or 70 goals is still conservative. He was very curious. In Lin Quan's opinion, how much was considered unconservative? So how many goals do you think Messi can score? I think we can have 80 or even 90 goals. Lin Quan replied seriously. Stop joking, do you know what the world record is? When Deulofeu heard Lin Quan's words, his eyes widened with disbelief on his face. You know, the current world record is only 85 goals. If Messi can score 80 or 90 goals, doesn't that mean he has a chance to break the world record? But how can this world record be so easy to break? Gerd Muller's record was set in 1972. For 40 years, no one has been able to break it, not even close to this record. Although Messi is great, Deulofeu simply cannot imagine that Messi can break this record. I know, the current world record is the 85 goals scored in a natural year set by German player Gerd Muller at Bayern Munich in 1972. But in the first 5 months of this year, Messi has scored 46 goals as of this game, and he is only less than 40 goals away from Gerd Muller's record. And this year has only been 5 months, and he still has a lot of time to continue to score goals. Based on his current state, I think this record is not so unattainable. Deulofeu was finally convinced. He started calculating the probability of Messi breaking the world record with his fingers, and stopped disturbing Lin Quan. Lin Quan withdrew his gaze from Deulofeu and looked back at the field. After scoring the fourth goal, Messi and other members of the Barcelona team walked to the coaching bench to find their coach Guardiola. "Thank you, Pep, these 4 goals are for you." Messi gave Guardiola a hug and whispered in his ear. Guardiola patted Messi on the back hard, his eyes were a little red and his nose was a little sore. "Thank you too, Leo, you deserve the cheers of 100,000 people at Camp Nou." Every bit of his 4-year coaching career at the new camp appeared in front of him one by one at this moment, giving him mixed feelings. He is a player from Barcelona's youth training. He joined Barcelona at the age of 13 and has played in Barcelona for a total of 17 years. It can be said that most of his career was spent in Barcelona. After retiring and transitioning into coaching, the first team he coached was Barcelona's B team. It was precisely because of his outstanding coaching performance in Barcelona B that he won the favor of Barcelona and was quickly promoted to the head coach of the first team. Subsequently, during his 4-year coaching career with the first team, he won 3 league championships, 2 Champions League championships, 2 Copa del Reys, 3 Spanish Super Cups, 2 European Super Cups and 2 World Cups for Barcelona. Club Cup champion. During the 4 years he coached Barcelona, Barcelona fans called it the Dream 3 Dynasties. It was one of the best periods in Barcelona's history. Such brilliant achievements not only gave him a high status in the hearts of fans, but also won him the respect and love of players. There are many good players at their peak. At the peak of their career, there are not many players who meet a good coach, achieve a series of results, and win a lot of championship trophies. Many Barcelona players, including Messi, especially the young players promoted from the youth training echelon by Guardiola, are very grateful to Guardiola. Without him sending away big-name players such as Ibrahimovic and Eto'o, these young players may not have a bright future. Without his passing tactics, Barcelona's record would not be so good. Now, such a meritorious coach who has led them to grow and achieve brilliant results is leaving. Many young players are very uneasy. They are worried that they will lose their place in the new coach's tactical system. Therefore, when they saw Guardiola's true feelings revealed, each of them mustered up the courage to appeal to him again. "Stay, coach, Barcelona needs you." "Yes, stay, boss, we need you too." Guardiola's mood is a bit bitter. He has achieved great success in Barcelona and has so many outstanding players under his hands. If conditions permit, he actually doesn't want to leave. However, the club changed its president, Laporta left, and Rosell, who was replaced, did not have a good relationship with him. In particular, Russell took drastic measures to eliminate dissidents in the name of reform, and even deprived the legendary Cruyff, who had made great contributions to the team, of the title of honorary chairman. This made Guardiola very disgusted with Rosell, and as the club's head coach, it will be very difficult for him to do a good job without a good relationship with the club chairman. This season has already seen signs of this. Some players, led by Pique, have gradually tended to escape his control. This made Guardiola feel that this was Russell's warning to him through the mouth of the players, forcing him to leave. Therefore, without negotiating a new home, Guardiola decided to resign from Barcelona. In order to show his attitude, he is not a traitor to Barcelona, but he was just forced to leave. Therefore, when faced with trying to retain players, he could only smile and shake his head. "Stop talking about this, kids, the game is not over yet, enjoy this game and enjoy the cheers of the fans." Perhaps Guardiola's refusal to retain the players had some impact on the players' mood. As a result, in the next game, Barcelona not only failed to score, but also received cards for fouls one after another. Teo and Captain Puyol received yellow cards within 5 minutes of each other, and Messi also missed a single shot in the 87th minute. If this goal had been scored, he would have performed the miracle of 5 goals. If it were normal times, Guardiola would definitely express his dissatisfaction on the sidelines at this time, but this time, he chose to sit on the bench of the coaching bench and drink water calmly without leaving his seat. It was already 4-0, with only 1 minute left in the game and only 4 minutes including injury time. It was impossible for the opponent to come back. As long as the players don't make low-level mistakes and get red cards, everything else doesn't matter. But even if you get a red card, it doesn't matter, because Barcelona missed the league championship early this season. They were 7 points behind Real Madrid in the standings. The win or loss of the last game did not affect the result at all. In such a game without any desire, Barcelona can just play casually. 4 minutes later, the referee blew the whistle to end the game. With Messi's 4 goals, Barcelona defeated its city rival Espanyol 4-0 at home, ending all home games in La Liga this season. Chapter 3 Farewell Ceremony. After the game, Barcelona held a farewell ceremony for Guardiola. 100,000 fans in the audience stood up and sang Guardiola's song. For them, today is a happy and sad day. Fortunately, they have Messi, who is only 25 years old and in his prime. Sadly, due to the controversy over the club's change of chairman, the team's legendary coach Guardiola left. This makes them feel a little pessimistic about the future prospects of the team. It is difficult to find a coach like Guardiola, who came from La Masia's youth training system, is familiar with Barcelona's tactical play, and makes full use of Barcelona's characteristics to develop a new tactical system and give full play to his own advantages. With Guardiola in charge, Barcelona once created the feat of having all 11 players in the game come from Barcelona's youth training. But after Guardiola leaves, can his successor still reuse players from La Masia's youth training in this way? Can he still achieve such a brilliant record as Guardiola? The more they think about this, the more reluctant they are to leave Guardiola. The fans waved Barcelona flags, held up various pictures with Guardiola's portraits, and loudly sang praises to Guardiola. Guardiola walked to the court alone. He raised his head and looked at the audience and the stadium. Here he led the team to achieve brilliant results and left a legend that belongs to them. But after today, he will no longer belong here. If I come back here next time, it will probably be as an opponent. By then, will these lovely fans still welcome and cheer for themselves as they do today? At this time, the big screen on the court began to play the highlight replays of Guardiola's achievements during his 4 years of coaching. First League Championship. First UEFA Champions League title. First 6-time Grand Slam winner. On the big screen, Guardiola celebrated when his players scored goals. Standing on the sidelines directing the game in the heavy rain. Running and cheering when the team wins the game. Running around the field when winning the first championship. In every game, I carefully take notes and study the tactics and opponents' weaknesses. In the end, the scene was fixed on the scene when the team won the Champions League last season and he was thrown high by the players. With excitement, Guardiola took the microphone handed over by the staff. I put it to my mouth several times, but couldn't speak. I was afraid that as soon as I opened my mouth, the fans and players would hear my choking voice. This is his home, and he is about to leave. People often say that the feeling of being close to hometown changes, but when a wanderer leaves his hometown and his future is uncertain, what will be his mood at that time? He took a deep breath, worked hard to adjust his state, and said, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone. Especially the people around me, the players, the coaching staff, the club staff. I am also very grateful to the fans who support us. We may not be that close, but I can feel your support every day. You know I will miss you and I am thrilled to have your support as I leave Camp Nou. The fans waved various banners and slogans supporting and thanking Guardiola, and gave Guardiola applause and blessings. As for the reason for my departure, I have said it many times on different occasions, but I think I still need to explain it to you again here. In the past 4 years of coaching Barcelona, we have achieved very good results, but during this time I have been under great pressure from work and have not been able to spend time with my family. Here, I apologize to them, and I promise to be with my family well in the next period of time. Guardiola looked towards the tunnel, where his girlfriend Cristina Sarah and her 4 children were looking at him with a smile. Lin Quan is among them. Yes, the couple who adopted Lin Quan were Guardiola and Sarah. Although they are not their biological children, Guardiola and Sarah have always treated Lin Quan as their own, treating them equally like their other 3 children. Guardiola waved to them, and Sarah immediately walked towards him with 4 children. Thank you for your hard work, Pep, now we can finally start our vacation. Sarah smiled and hugged her lover. She saw that Guardiola was a little depressed, so she tried to divert his attention with things like vacation. Thank you, Cristina, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to spend time with you and the children all these years. Guardiola felt a little guilty and apologized sincerely again. There's no need to say sorry. If you really feel you're owed something, it's better to show it with actual actions. Well, this is a good suggestion, I will consider it. Guardiola was thinking about marriage. He felt that it was time to end this long-distance love affair. When it was Lin Quan's turn, Guardiola took the initiative to hug him, patted him hard on the shoulder, and said to him, "Lin, you are already 16 years old. It's time to think about your future career plans. Do you have any ideas?" Lin Quan thought seriously for a while and replied, "I plan to practice hard at Barcelona, and then find a team to rent or transfer to." "You want to leave Barcelona?" Guardiola was a little surprised by Lin Quan's idea. Players from the La Masia Youth Academy rarely have the idea of leaving Barcelona. But looking at Lin Quan, he doesn't seem to have such deep feelings for Barcelona. Could it be that his choice to resign because of the stalemate in his relationship with the club affected him? Yes, Barcelona's first team is full of talents. I don't have many opportunities here, so I have to leave. Lin Quan said this, but in fact he was thinking that Barcelona was not worth staying. Judging from Bissaka's operation to drive away Messi at the deadline of the transfer period 10 years later, this club has no human touch at all. A legendary player who played for the team for 21 years, scored more than 600 goals, and led the team to win countless honors, could be humiliated and driven away by them in such an inhumane, almost playful way. Only a fool would want to stay in this kind of club. Guardiola thought about it and realized that Barcelona's midfielder indeed has a rich reserve of talent. Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta and others are at their peak and very strong. I'm afraid young players really can't compete with them, although when he was the head coach, he was prepared to train Lin Quan as Harvey's successor. For this reason, he was even given the number 4 jersey of the youth team, which was also the jersey he wore when he played for Barcelona. But he doesn't know how Barcelona's tactics will change after he leaves. Every coach has his own ideas. Some like to reuse players from their own youth training, while others like to buy famous players from outside. Therefore, the development plan he had formulated for Lin Quan may not be feasible now. Okay, I respect your choice. Let's have a good chat after we go back. Lin Quan nodded. Guardiola is now the hottest legendary coach on the planet. I must consider his opinion. After hugging his family, colleagues and team players in turn, Guardiola quickly left the field as the club staff lined up to see him off. From this moment on, Guardiola and Barcelona disconnected. Many people, including fans and club executives, thought this was just a short separation. He will come back when the club's president changes and the conflicts between Guardiola and the club ease. But no one expected that this farewell would be an eternal farewell. Please vote for recommendation. Chapter 4, the body transformation is completed, and the football skills have skyrocketed. That night, after returning home, Lin Quan was just lying on the bed when he heard the sound of the system. Body transformation begins. Time required, 8 hours. Without giving Lin Quan time to think about it, a burst of fatigue hit him and he immediately fell into a deep sleep. This lasted 8 hours of sleep, and I felt refreshed and energetic after waking up. Is the systematic body transformation complete? Lin Quan looked at himself up and down, but his height had not changed. After taking measurements, he was still the original height of 1.72 meters. Before, I was worried that the transformation of the system would make me the same height as Messi, but now it seems that I am worrying too much. However, Messi's sharp breakthroughs and dribbling have a lot to do with his height. Messi's extremely fast pace and natural ball sense allow him to touch the ball faster and more than others. Therefore, in the same time, others can only do 2 actions, but he can complete 3 actions. Therefore, using the change of rhythm, Messi can get past most defensive players. This is also the great thing about Messi, taking the change of rhythm to the extreme. A new trick can be eaten all over the world, but you just can't do anything about it. You know he wants to kill you, but your body can't keep up with your brain, so there's the famous scene where Boateng tripped himself. Therefore, Lin Quan is very worried that his breakthrough, dribbling and other skills will be affected due to the increase in body height. Is Messi, who is 1.72 meters tall, still Messi? No, you have to go to the court and try it. So Lin Quan excitedly hugged the football, rode his bicycle, and rushed to the football field. What are you doing, kid, getting up so early? Doesn't the training for the youth team start at 9:30? It's not even 6:30 now. Looking at Lin Quan speeding back, Sarah said to Guardiola inexplicably. Guardiola was thoughtful, remembering his chat with Lin Quan yesterday. The child is older and has his own ideas. Training seriously at this time is probably preparing him to leave Barcelona. Thinking of this, Guardiola decided to use his connections to help Lin Quan find a team. If he really wants to leave Barcelona, then at least send him to a better team and not delay his career. Lin Quan arrived very early, and there was no one else in the training base except the security guards guarding the door. After saying hello to the security guard, Lin Quan rushed into the training ground excitedly and couldn't wait to get the ball and start training. He really wants to experience what it feels like to play Messi-style football. Before touching the ball, Lin Quan didn't notice anything strange. But when the ball came to his feet, he immediately felt the difference. He obviously felt that his pace was much faster than usual, if he could only take 2 steps per second before. Now, he can take at least 3 or even 4 steps in 1 second. In addition to his faster pace, he obviously felt that his ball feel had improved a lot. After picking up the ball, the football seems to be glued to your feet. Every time you touch the ball, you can accurately control the football and not leave your body more than half a meter away. What this distance means, he knows better than anyone as a midfielder. The reason why Messi is difficult to steal when he dribbles. First, because he touches the ball quickly and can almost hit the ball every step of the way, he can always get the ball away before his opponent touches the football. Second, because he has an excellent sense of the ball, he can control the distance the football leaves his body very well every time, making it difficult for defensive players to grab his ball from this distance. Therefore, there is only one best way to deal with Messi: don't let the ball pass to his feet. After some experiments, Lin Quan was particularly pleasantly surprised. The dog system is so reliable this time, it has really copied Messi's attributes to itself. Next, he tried several of Messi's signature passing moves, such as picking the ball to pass, inside and outside instep smashing, stopping the ball and turning, fried balls, continuous fake shots and other skills. These actions are not exclusive to Messi, but because of his good feel for the ball and his quick touch of the ball, he poses a greater threat than other players when using these actions. Hey, Lin, why are you here so early? After Lin Quan practiced on the court for an hour, went to the cafeteria to have breakfast, and then returned to the locker room to take a shower, Dulafu and other talents finally arrived. Dulafu felt a little surprised when he saw Lin Quan practicing alone on the court. In his impression, this guy is not a particularly hardworking person. Why are you here so early today? Judging from the sweat on his face, it was obvious that he had been training for a long time. I want to play in the first team. Faced with Dulafu's question, Lin Quan answered seriously. Ah, are you kidding? You are only 16 years old this year, not yet 17 years old. How can you be able to gain a foothold in the first team at this age? Dulafu came on as a substitute in Barcelona's 5-0 victory over Mallorca in the 11th round of La Liga last year. However, when he came on the field, the score on the field had already reached 4 o'clock. Messi had already scored 3 goals in the first 30 minutes, killing the suspense of the game early. That's why Guardiola replaced him to feel the atmosphere and train the young players. But in the dozens of minutes he played, he intuitively felt the huge gap in strength between the first team and the youth team. This made Dulafu deeply aware that his abilities were still lacking. He still needs to continue to work hard to improve his skills and strength, otherwise he will not be able to gain a foothold in the first team. Dulafu is 1.5 years older than Lin Quan, and he feels that he cannot even gain a foothold in the first team. Lin Quan, who is younger and thinner, is even more unlikely. Of course I'm not joking, and I didn't say I had to establish myself at Barcelona. You want to leave Barcelona? Dulafu was shocked. Players who come to La Masia dream of staying here and dream of one day being able to play at the Camp Nou. But Lin Quan, a Barcelona native with good roots, actually wanted to leave Barcelona, which surprised him very much. Of course, how can you play in the first team without leaving Barcelona, and La Masia youth training players are very popular outside, so you don't have to worry about finding a team to take them. I think you can also consider it, if you don't have to stay in Barcelona. I vaguely remember that Dulafu struggled a lot in Barcelona. He was in and out several times, but in the end he was not kicked out. Lin Quan then gave his friend a warning. As for whether he would listen or not, that was not his decision. Just like someone who has dreamed of playing for Real Madrid since he was a child, as Barcelona's performance becomes increasingly brilliant, many young players have dreamed of playing for Barcelona. Deulofeu is one of them. At this time, the coaches of the youth team came up and waved the players to move the equipment and prepare to start today's training. 5 days later, they will go away to challenge league rival Almeria. The opponents are currently ranked 7th in the Segunda División standings, with Barcelona's youth team ranked 8th. Although the ranking is only one place behind, the opponents' points are 14 points higher than theirs, and their strength is much stronger than theirs. However, the team has lost 2 games in a row. In the last round, they even lost 4-1 to Celta Vigo, which embarrassed the Barcelona club. Therefore, the club gave them a death order to win Almeria no matter what and end their 2-game losing streak. This puts the coaching staff of the youth team under tremendous pressure, and they attach great importance to the next game. Therefore, they plan to conduct an intra-squad training match and bring their best players to the away game. Such training matches are often held before. As the team's main defensive midfielder, Lin Quan usually wears a blue vest that symbolizes the main force. But today, the team's assistant coach gave him a yellow vest as a substitute. What does it mean? Lin Quan looked at the youth team coach Enrique, only to see him talking to club president Russell with a flattering look on his face. Was it Russell's fault? Chapter 5 Exactly like Messi. On the sidelines of the training ground, Russell and Enrique were chatting. Guardiola is gone and Villanova will take over the team next season, but Villanova is not in good health and may not last long. Russell's eyes swept over the young players playing in the youth training field, and he said casually to the youth team coach Enrique. It is a tradition for Barcelona to promote talents and coaches from the youth training echelon. As the coach of Barcelona's youth team, Enrique has a good chance of becoming the coach of the first team. Enrique's eyes lit up after hearing his words, and he couldn't help but feel a little excited. Barcelona is currently one of the best and strongest clubs in football. Being able to coach such a top team is simply a dream for a young coach like him. Especially for a coach like him who has a strong Barcelona brand, he may not be able to achieve good results when he goes to coach other teams. Enrique once left Barcelona, but his coaching experience in Serie A was not smooth. After a failed season at Roma, he was fired and had to return to Barcelona. Just when he came back, Guardiola resigned and left, which gave Enrique hope. He inquired that the club planned to choose one of him and Martino as the club's coach. Villanova is destined to be just an overcoach and will not stay in the head coach position for too long. Therefore, as long as he can defeat Martino, the position of Barcelona coach will be in his pocket. To defeat Martino in the competition, it is crucial to obtain the support of the club president. Chairman, don't worry, I will do my best to cooperate with your work. Enrique reacted quickly, and after hearing Russell's hint, he immediately expressed his loyalty to the other party. For him, he only needs to work as Barcelona coach for a few years and achieve some impressive results. He already has a glorious resume of coaching a wealthy club, which will be of great help to him in finding a job in the future. If he can lead Barcelona to win the Champions League, then he may surpass Guardiola and become a new generation of legendary young coach. When he thought of this, Enrique looked at Russell with eager eyes. Well, very good, Lewis, I really saw you right. Russell nodded with satisfaction, and then said casually. I heard that there is a young player in the echelon who has a close relationship with Guardiola. Is this true? Enrique nodded quickly, pointed at Lin Quan who was training on the training ground and replied. Yes, the young player wearing jersey number 4, he is Guardiola's adopted son. Oh, I see. Russell nodded slightly and gave the order in an understatement. Since Guardiola is no longer in the club, let's get rid of the connected players who came in due to his nepotism. We at Barcelona don't need such connected players. Enrique opened his mouth, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end he didn't speak. Although he wanted to be fair to Lin Quan, the opponent was good and not a relevant player. With his strength, there is absolutely no problem in establishing a foothold in Barcelona's youth team. However, the club president does not like him. To be precise, the president does not like Guardiola. And he and Guardiola have an adoptive father-son relationship, so he can't blame others for being affected. Yes, Chairman, I know what to do. Russell nodded and agreed to the matter. Handle it nicely, I don't want to be gossiped about. Russell patted him on the shoulder, left without saying a word. Enrique looked at the other person's leaving figure and couldn't help cursing in his heart. As soon as Guardiola left, the club was about to get rid of his adopted son. If this matter spreads, the impact will be very bad. And as the person who single-handedly handled this matter, if he didn't handle it well, he would probably be blamed for it. So, how can we complete the tasks assigned by the club chairman without taking the blame and being scolded? He quickly thought of a way. Find a weaker team to loan Lin Quan out and let him play in the first team. As long as he cannot gain a foothold in the first team, Barcelona can take the opportunity to terminate the contract. No one can say anything at that time. After all, he can't gain a foothold in such a small team, so how can he gain a foothold in a top club like Barcelona? In this way, even if you clean him up, you won't be scolded. Thinking of this, Enrique couldn't help but feel proud of his intelligence. As expected of me. So he waved to assistant coach Jordi Branca and said to him, Blanca, where are the loan applications submitted by other teams? Inside your office. Well, okay, you just stay here and keep an eye on me, I'll be back as soon as I go. Enrique left directly after saying that. And just when he turned to leave, Lin Quan completed a wonderful breakthrough on the wing. Because he was assigned to the substitute side, Lin Quan faced the main defensive lineup of the youth team. Everyone has played together, so the youth team players know Lin Quan's characteristics very well. His body is not strong enough and his ability to fight is not strong enough. Therefore, when defending him, you can actively attack him, directly use physical confrontation to hinder his advancement, and even steal his ball. In the past, when an opponent did this, Lin Quan would immediately distribute the ball to reduce the time he held the ball and not give the opponent a chance for physical confrontation. He is an organizational midfielder, as long as he has good enough passing and ball control skills, excellent awareness, and overall view. Then if you have a certain interception ability, that's it. It is unrealistic to expect him to break through like a winger. But today, when receiving a pass from his teammate, he almost subconsciously pushed the ball outward with the instep of his outside foot. At the same time, he lowered his right shoulder and made a move to break through from the right sideline. Rafinha, who was guarding him, was stunned for a moment, because this is a common move for wingers to break through from the outside. Is the other party planning to get rid of me? He immediately stopped and moved laterally, intending to block the position and squeeze the opponent out of the sideline. But he had just made this move when Lin Quan immediately spiked the ball and the football slid past his right. Because the ball was right next to his right foot, Rafinha almost subconsciously stretched his foot to stop the ball. But he forgot that his body was moving sideways at this time. As soon as he lifted his right foot, his body twisted into a twist and he fell to the ground with a snap. Lin Quan Hikyu also successfully completed the wing breakthrough. Wow! When Lin Quan knocked down Rafinha, all the players, including the coach on the sidelines, were stunned. They all had a feeling in their minds. Why does Lin Quan's way of playing football feel exactly the same as Messi's? Chapter 6. One person destroys an entire line of defense. On the sidelines, members of the coaching staff, including assistant coach Blanca, were all dazzled by Lin Quan's beautiful breakthrough just now. Especially the way he passed the ball, which was very similar to Messi, made them couldn't help but talk about it. You looked so much like Messi just now. Yes, he has exerted the power of each stroke to the extreme this time. Rafinha made the right choice. If he didn't move laterally, the opponent would definitely rush to his left. That's right, Lin Quan's fake action was too real. The heavy shoulder movement and the change of center of gravity were too deceptive. Not to mention inexperienced young players, even experienced old players could easily do it. Cheated. Defending Messi cannot be deceived by his fake moves. You must rely on strong prediction to successfully defend one-on-one. Several people had a heated discussion, but as they chatted, the topic shifted from Lin Quan to Messi. Lin Quan's passing move just now was originally just a very common way of passing people. There are many people who know this move. But there are only a handful of people in football who can use it as well and as deceptively as Messi. In the eyes of the coaching staff, Lin Quan's actions just now looked very much like Messi, and he had at least 70% to 80% of Messi's skills. Messi's influence in the minds of young players is so great. Not to mention the youth team, there are a lot of people in the entire La Masia youth training team who imitate his football. Yes, there are many people imitating Messi. Not only in La Masia, there is a wave of imitating Messi all over the world. You don't know that young players from many countries have recently joined us at La Masia, and when they joined, they had almost the same titles, such as Japanese Messi, Korean Messi, and so on. A coach in charge of youth training said with a smile, "If Messi from these countries can reach 70% to 80% of Messi's strength, he will be enough to become a football superstar." How is that possible? There is only one Messi in the world, and no one can reach his level. Messi is a player from the La Masia Youth Academy. Many coaches present have trained him before and are very impressed by him. Messi's unique way of playing is based on his extremely high talent. Without Messi's talent, it would be impossible for others to successfully imitate him. It is precisely because of this that Lin Quan's breakthrough made the coach's eyes shine. There are many people who imitate Messi, but there are very few who imitate him so much that they feel like Messi is playing on the court. The game continued. After Lin Quan successfully broke through Rafinha, he was approaching the edge of the penalty area. Banjak, the centre-back of the main team, did not dare to let him continue to approach the penalty area, so he immediately chose to step forward, get stuck inside him, and let him go down the baseline, preventing him from cutting inside to shoot or pass the ball. There is currently only one offensive player in the penalty area, but there are 3 defensive players. Moreover, the forward of the substitute team is only 175 centimeters tall, while several defenders guarding him are all over 1.8 m tall. If Lin Quan is really driven near the baseline, his passing may be difficult to pose a threat, and he is more likely to be cleared by the defender. He didn't want to waste this opportunity, so he immediately approached Banyak with the ball, observed the position of nearby teammates, and made preparations to pass the ball. This move earned praise from several coaches on the sidelines. Lin plays very smart. He knows that his ability to escape is not strong. He cannot stick to the ball too much and must pass the ball as quickly as possible. Yes, the main team's defensive midfielder is not far away from him. At this time, he has already caught up from behind. If he passes the ball a little later, he may be surrounded and lose the ball. However, the player on the substitute team seemed to be half a beat slower. There was no one near him to respond. Banjak and another defender who filled and blocked his passing line to the forward. It seems that the only option is to pass back, but if it is passed back, this offensive opportunity will be wasted. Back passing will waste opportunities. If you don't pass back, there is a high probability that you will lose the ball and be counterattacked by the opponent. Relatively speaking, it is better to pass back. Why are you all so conservative? He just made a beautiful breakthrough. Now he can do it again. A young coach obviously has different ideas. Compared with the conservativeness of other coaches, he is obviously more radical. As long as Lin Quan successfully breaks through Banyak's defense, he will be able to create a 2-on-2 opportunity, and the remaining 2 defenders will definitely come to intercept him. In this way, the opponent's double-teaming of the substitute forward will be ineffective. At that time, he can either hit the goal himself or pass the ball to the forward, so there will be more options. So, what will he choose? The coaches are very curious about Lin Quan's choice. Lin Quan chose to break through. Although Banyak is a young player born in 1995, he is very experienced in defense. He did not stand in a dead position or rush forward recklessly. Instead, he stood still, maintained a suitable distance, and slowly retreated, forcing the opponent to slow down. This distance is not too far. If the opponent wants to take a shot, the defender can stretch out his feet to interfere or rush to block it when the opponent adjusts his pace. As a result, the probability of the ball being blocked is extremely high. And if the offensive player gets into his rhythm and is forced to slow down along with him, the opponent's threat will be greatly reduced. Because there is no speed advantage, it is difficult to think about the local people. What's more, other players on the defensive side are still chasing back at full speed. Once the offensive player slows down, he will be caught up immediately. Therefore, Lin Quan couldn't fall into the opponent's trap, couldn't slow down, let alone stop. To deal with a retreating defense like Banjak, Messi has a very useful trick in his arsenal, which is to smash the ball and change direction. Taking advantage of Banyak's opportunity to raise his left foot and retreat, Lin Quan moved the ball to the right. This move reminded the coaches on the sidelines of the previous breakthrough, and they thought Lin Quan was going to repeat his same tricks. Oops, a mistake, the ball was dialed too high. Seeing that the football rolled a little far, the coaches were a little sorry. At this distance, the defensive player can intercept the ball directly. Sure enough, seeing the opponent's mistake, Banyak immediately stretched out his raised left foot, trying to poke the ball. But just when he thought he could touch the ball first, one foot hit the ball at a faster speed and knocked the ball to the other side. Banyak was stunned. How did the other party do it? Could it be that what just happened was not a mistake, but a trap aimed at him? After touching the ball with his right foot twice in a very short period of time, Lin Quan lightly cut the football with the outside instep of his left foot. The ball came to Banyak's right foot, but at this time his left foot had not yet landed, and his right foot could not move at all. He could only watch helplessly as Lin Quan knocked the ball again with the instep of his left foot, changing the ball. After the direction, the ball rolled forward. Lin Quan also took advantage of the opportunity to pass Banyak, looked up and observed the defender's position, and then decisively hit the goal. The kick was so sudden that the two defenders behind him had no time to make up their positions, and the goalkeeper didn't expect that he could hit the goal from an angle. But by the time he saw Lin Quan knocking on the door, it was already too late to fly to save him. The ball flew into the upper right corner of the goal at a not particularly fast speed, and bounced into the net against the angle between the crossbar and the uprights. This is a theoretical blind spot. Even if the goalkeeper is prepared, it is very difficult to save. The score on the field reached 1 o'clock, and the substitute team actually took the lead. After the players on the substitute team were stunned for a moment, they swarmed towards Lin Quan like crazy. Lin Quan was startled and was about to run away when he saw that the situation was not good, but there was no way he could escape. He was knocked down by a group of substitutes and pinned down, forming a mountain of people. The members of the main team stood there with their hands on their hips, with complicated expressions. They witnessed Lin Quan's entire process from breaking through from the sideline to breaking into the penalty area and scoring. Except for the central midfielder Rafinha, who may have been easily passed due to carelessness and underestimation of the enemy, the other players made no mistakes. But the opponents scored an unreasonable goal, which made them unable to even complain about their teammates. At this time, Enrique, who had returned to the office and obtained the information, was studying which team Lin Quan should be sent to, without any idea of what was happening on the court. Please vote for recommendation, thank you all. Chapter 7 Score another goal. After the substitute team finished celebrating, his teammates pulled up Lin Quan who was lying on the ground. Several teammates who were close to him ruffled his hair before returning to their positions. Not only the substitutes, but also several players from the main team expressed congratulations to Lin Quan. Deulofeu even gave Lin Quan a big hug. Lin, how did you do that just now? Even a true winger like him can't do this kind of thing by destroying an entire defense line by himself. But he didn't want to be finished by his friend who played as a midfielder, which made Deulofeu feel very incredible. Want to learn? Aha! Deulofeu nodded quickly. I also learn from Messi. If you want to learn, then watch more Messi games, watch more and learn more, and you will naturally learn it. Lin Quan said seriously. It was originally just a lie to the other party, but unexpectedly Deulofeu actually believed it. I see, no wonder the way you passed people just now seemed familiar to me. Deulofeu secretly decided that after the training of the youth team was over, he would go to the first team and steal Messi's skills at close range. As long as he perseveres and insists on stealing from his master every day, he will not believe that he can't learn. Lin Quan was speechless for a while. Seeing the other party's eagerness to try, it was hard for him to speak to dampen the other party's enthusiasm. But it doesn't seem like a bad thing for Deulofeu to show his face in the first team. This will leave a certain impression on the coach. When it is time to promote players from the youth team in the future, it may be easier to think of him. The game continued. Because the score was behind, the main team was very unconvinced, so they increased their offensive intensity from the beginning. They began to use the first team's passing and control tactics, increasing the concentration in the midfield and frontcourt, pushing the defensive position forward, and accumulating a lot of manpower in the midfield and frontcourt. The advantage of this is that it can effectively intercept and compress the passing space and routes of the opponent's players, and increase the opponent's mistakes. And once the opponent makes a mistake, they can steal the ball in the opponent's frontcourt and immediately form a threatening offense. The disadvantage is that if you encounter a quick counterattack from your opponent and cannot intercept the ball while the opponent is advancing, the shortcomings of the empty defense will become a fatal weakness. Guardiola's passing and controlling tactics actually do not improve the offense as much as the defense. This is essentially a revolutionary defensive tactic. The way to defend is to prevent the opponent from touching the ball. Without the ball, the opponent naturally cannot score. Then he will fall under the siege of Barcelona. After all, if you stay too long, you will lose. To deal with this tactic, Mourinho once developed a targeted quick counterattack tactic when he was at Real Madrid. The core point of this tactic is to reduce the number of passes as much as possible. Players cannot dribble and must release the ball quickly, preferably with one kick. And the pass cannot be passed crosswise or back, it must be passed forward. The players on the two wings should be fast when counterattacking and be able to move out of position, allowing the players behind to have a suitable route for the ball. Try to be as concise as possible and not compete with Barcelona in the midfield. Directly bypassing the midfield, playing the ball from the backcourt, and quickly transitioning to the frontcourt with 2 or 3 kicks, posing a threat to the opponent's goal within a few seconds. Once such a counterattack is completed, even if it fails to score in the end, it can be a great deterrent to the opponent, making them restrained and afraid to invest too many troops in the frontcourt. To achieve such an effect, the defensive side needs to have a backcourt player who can pass the ball well, and 1 or 2 wingers with fast speed and strong personal ability. And it just so happens that there is such a player in the youth team. That's Lin Quan, who has gained Messi's attributes. In the 18th minute of the game, the main team rushed forward and the substitute team made consecutive mistakes. After the main team got the ball, they formed a siege on the substitute team's goal. But because there were too many people in the penalty area, their few shots failed to pose a threat. The ball was picked up by the goalkeeper. Lin Quan glanced at the empty half of the main team and immediately reached for the ball. As the team's main midfielder, the players on the bench naturally treat him like a big brother. The goalkeeper passed the ball to him without hesitation. The ball was passed to Lin Quan's feet. 2 players from the main team immediately rushed forward to grab the ball, trying to steal Lin Quan's ball just like they had done with other substitute players before. But Lin Quan stopped the ball and turned around, swiping past a defender in a dashing way. Then he used the opponent as a human wall to block another player who was attacking. This escape was very beautiful, the movement was very smooth, and the angle was suddenly changed. He did not hesitate and immediately passed the ball diagonally to the right winger of the substitute team, making tactical coordination gestures while passing the ball. After receiving the ball, the right winger immediately sprinted forward and entered the main team's half. There were only 3 defensive players in the backcourt of the main team. One of them saw that the situation was not going well and immediately rushed to block the right winger of the substitute team. The other 2 defenders retreated while preparing to cover their positions. The right winger of the substitute team did not dare to dribble the ball. After seeing the defensive player blocking his advancement line, he immediately passed the ball diagonally in front of him. The pass came to an empty position and it looked like a mistake. But soon, a yellow figure flashed by and took the ball away. The one who caught the ball was none other than Lin Quan. "Stop him." The central defender of the main team panicked immediately when he saw that it was Lin Quan who had the ball. After Lin Quan completed the pass, he quickly ran forward and grabbed the ball before the defender. However, Lin Quan's speed advantage was not big, and the central midfielder of the main team caught up with him. This position is about 35 meters away from the goal. If he is allowed to dribble forward, it is very likely that a shot will occur. As a result, the central midfielder of the main team immediately took action, grabbed Lin Quan's jersey and bumped into him with his body, intending to bring him down. If it were an official game, he would have already made the tackle. Even if you can't tackle the ball, you can at least knock people down. But this was just a training match within the team, and this kind of tackle was likely to cause injury to the opponent, so he didn't dare to make a move easily. Lin Quan's height and weight were not as good as his opponent's, so he was completely at a disadvantage in the physical confrontation. At this time, being bumped into by the other party, he immediately felt a little unsteady on his feet. Fortunately, the left winger of the substitute team had already moved out of position, so Lin Quan passed the ball before falling to the ground. The left winger quickly cut inside after receiving the ball and approached the penalty area. One of the two defenders had to come over to defend him, but he passed the ball to the right before the opponent came over. An offensive player who followed up shot a volley. The ball was a little on target and the goalkeeper was ready to save it. But when the ball was flying, it rubbed against the leg of the main team's defender, refracted, and bounced into the net. At this time, the players of the main team had just run back to the penalty area. The score became 2:00. Chapter 8 Leasing Arrangements. If the first goal was scored based on personal ability, the second goal was based on the use of one's own organizational skills to connect the team's frontcourt offense and finally complete the goal. This ball should not have been thrown. On the sidelines, while the members of the coaching staff applauded the substitute team, they were also a little dissatisfied with the home team's loss of goals. The passing and controlling tactics are great, but the requirements for players are too high. Yes, there are a large number of outstanding midfielders such as Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, etc. in the first team. Even outstanding midfielders like Mascherano have been squeezed out of their positions and have to went to play guard. Looking at the youth team, our midfielders, except for Lin Quan, are not very good. There is no strong midfielder, and there is no goal-scoring machine like Messi with strong individual combat ability in front of us. The passing and control effect of the home team is quite normal. It's not that the main team didn't create opportunities. In fact, during the period when they laid siege to the substitute team, they completed 3 shots, 2 of which hit the goal frame. It's a pity that the forwards of the youth team are too far behind Messi in terms of personal ability. Their shots failed to score, and were either blocked or saved by the goalkeeper. As a result, there was a situation where the main team had a significant lead in ball possession, but was unable to score. This made the coaches of the youth team involuntarily think of the Spanish national team. Spain's international players are so star-studded that the midfield masters alone can form a team. Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Cesc Fabregas, Alonso, David Silva, Mata, Cazorla, Navas, etc., each of them is almost the core of the midfield of their respective clubs. Such a strong midfield lineup allows the Spaniard to easily control the midfield. But the embarrassing thing is that Spain lacks a super forward and a terminator like Messi. As a result, the Spanish team always won the game but failed to score. When encountering strong opponents, it was difficult to break the opponent's goal. In the World Cup in South Africa 2 years ago, Spain only scored 1 goal in each game when they met strong teams such as Portugal, Paraguay, Germany and the Netherlands in the knockout rounds. Although it looks economical and affordable, its weak characteristics are fully exposed. Although each of these midfield masters has the ability to score goals, their shooting skills are not top-notch, and they are still far behind the real forwards. Therefore, you can often see them repeatedly wasting good opportunities to score goals during games. If Messi chooses to join the Spanish national team, then this team formed with Barcelona as the team is almost tailor-made for Messi. I can't even imagine how terrifying such a Spanish team would be in the world arena. But it is a pity that there is only one Messi, and he chose to join the Argentine national team. There is no good way. The national team's midfield is so strong, isn't it also difficult to score? Our problem is similar to that of the national team, but the strength of the players is too different, so it is naturally more difficult to score. The coaches frowned, and the problems in the youth team made them slightly worried. Once the midfield masters of the first team retire, given the strength of these midfielders in the current team echelon, it may be difficult to replace them. By then, can Barcelona continue to implement the current passing and control tactics? This crisis is actually more serious than the current problem of the youth team, because the performance of the first team is related to the life and death of the entire club. Fortunately, they still have a seedling in hand, and that is Lin Quan. Lin Quan's strength is already good, and this game won the unanimous recognition of the coaching staff. Although the position he played today is a bit strange, not like a defensive midfielder, but more like a front midfielder. But his performance in this game was so outstanding that the coaches subconsciously ignored this problem. Moreover, the position of young players on the field is not fixed. The training within the team is actually to find the most suitable position for them, so that their potential can be fully developed. Therefore, the coaches not only did not criticize Lin Quan, but also told the defensive players of the main team to pay attention to the scale of their movements and not to hurt him by kicking him. This is the treasure of the youth training team, and it must be well protected to prevent any problems. Barcelona's midfield banner is still waiting for him to take over. At the same time, in the youth team coach's office, Enrique dug out a stack of application forms for renting the team from the drawer. Looking for a suitable rental team. Barcelona is currently a hot and wealthy club in football, and La Masia's youth training camp is full of talents. Therefore, many teams, especially some small teams that are relatively poor and have no money to recruit players, like to rent players from them and use them back. Spanish players are known for their technical sophistication and are rich in midfielders. And Barcelona happens to have a rich reserve of midfielders. Many midfielders from the youth team are unable to gain a foothold in the first team and have to be loaned out for training. After the loan period expires, if Barcelona still does not have a position suitable for them, then they will most likely choose to transfer and leave. And when they transfer and leave, the team that rents them out will naturally become their first choice. After all, after adapting and running in during the loan period, they have been able to integrate into the team's tactical system. If you transfer to another team, it may take a long time to adjust. For young players, if they fail to perform satisfactorily in the limited playing time, they are likely to lose the trust of the head coach and be put in cold storage. After all, the professional arena is very cruel. The capable are promoted and the mediocre are demoted. If you fail to seize the opportunity given to you, you will definitely be punished. This is Enrique's plan. He plans to loan Lin Quan to a team with a high league level, a weak team, and a team that needs results. Such a team doesn't have much patience with young players. If he doesn't play well in the last game, it is likely that the opponent's head coach will lose patience with him after 2 or 3 games. After sitting on the bench for a year on that team, even if Lin Quan has some talent, I'm afraid it will be wasted. Moreover, he has not had any outstanding performance this year, and Barcelona has enough reasons to refuse his contract extension. In this way, the task assigned to him by Chairman Russell was completed. According to his request, he eliminated teams outside the 5 major leagues. The leagues in which those teams are located are too weak, and it is entirely possible for players from Barcelona's youth team to secure their main position. The level of the 5 major leagues is much higher. Even if he comes from the La Masia youth training camp, at his age, it is impossible to become the main player. Among the 5 major leagues, La Liga teams have obviously submitted the most loan applications to Barcelona. But Enrique does not plan to loan Lin Quan to other La Liga teams, because these teams have to play against Barcelona at least twice a year. When these teams play against Barcelona, the media will naturally mention Barcelona's loaned players from the opposing team. This is tantamount to deepening Lin Quan's presence in the hearts of Barcelona fans and is not conducive to downplaying his existence. So he ruled out La Liga first. The Premier League team is originally very good, and the physical confrontation is fierce enough. However, young players, especially those from Spain, have an inexplicable resistance to playing in England. The cold weather in the British Isles, fierce physical confrontations, rough fouls and the referee's loose enforcement standards are very detrimental to the technical Spanish players. Therefore, Lin Quan is likely to refuse to go to the Premier League on loan. Finally, after various considerations, Enrique found a league that he thought was the most suitable and that the players were unlikely to refuse, the Bundesliga. And in the Bundesliga, there happened to be such a team that submitted an application. In this case, it's you, Werder Bremen. Chapter 9 Leaving Barcelona. Loan me to play in the Bundesliga? At the end of the training match, Enrique came out of the office. As soon as he came out, he found Lin Quan with a straight face and directly informed him of the club's arrangements. Yes, I and other members of the coaching staff agree that you need to accept the training of high-level competitions in order to grow up faster. Enrique said seriously. There is currently no place for you in the first team, so I can only loan you to play in other leagues. Perhaps he felt that this explanation was not convincing enough, so he added another sentence. The positions in the youth team are also valuable, and we need to continue to promote new young players from the echelon to train them. You know, this is our long-lasting tradition at Barcelona. We attach more importance to youth training than any other club. Lin Quan naturally didn't believe his lies at all. Russell just came to the youth team as a front footer, and Enrique will loan himself out as a back footer. If there was nothing fishy about it, he wrote his name backwards. However, Lin Quan did not object to Enrique's arrangement of loaning him out. Enrique is right about one thing. Lin Quan currently needs high-level competition to continue to improve his strength. The team's training match just now has proved that after acquiring the attributes of peak Messi, youth team-level games no longer have much training value for him. If he doesn't want his strength to stagnate or even regress, he needs to play in the top league as soon as possible. The Bundesliga has a short schedule and attaches great importance to the protection and training of young players, so it is very suitable for young demons to improve. Therefore, Lin Quan is very satisfied with this arrangement. However, he will not let Enrique's plan succeed easily. So he deliberately said, "I'm having a good time in Barcelona, and I'm not going anywhere." When Enrique heard this, he immediately became anxious. Russell asked him to drive Lin Quan away, and he had promised the other party that he would handle the matter. If Lin Quan doesn't agree to the loan at this time, then he will be a little bit unable to get off the stage. So, with a straight face, he threatened. "This is the club's decision. If you don't agree, we have the right to terminate your contract." Facing Enrique's threat, Lin Quan was not afraid at all and asked, "Mr. Enrique, is this the club's intention, or is it your personal decision?" "Of course it means the club." "Oh, really? My father has just resigned and the club is going to burn bridges, is that right?" "If this is really the case, I can go back and tell my father what the club means." "Of course not, of course the club doesn't mean this. Your father is the team's meritorious coach, and the club will definitely not do such a frivolous thing." Enrique explained hurriedly. "Oh. Since it's not the club's intention, it's your own private decision as coach, right?" Enrique felt a little bad in his heart. He saw a smile in the other person's eyes, and his heart skipped a beat, feeling like he had been cheated. It's not nice to hear about the killing of donkeys, especially against Guardiola's family members. As long as someone leaks this matter, the media reporters will know about it. That will definitely create a fuss in a short time. Guardiola's status in the Barcelona club is much higher than his own. Now many people think that Guardiola is only leaving temporarily and will definitely come back in the future. If the fans knew that a coach of the youth training team dared to treat the team's merits in this way, and if Guardiola was completely angered and Guardiola never came back, then Barcelona fans would have to eat him alive. At that time, even if he explains that this is the club and an order from Chairman Russell, it will be useless. He might even offend Russell because of this, and the other party would definitely kill him. Thinking of this, Enrique began to sweat on his forehead. For the first time, he felt that a 16-year-old kid could be so difficult to deal with. Ahem, this is not an order, this is just my personal suggestion. It does not necessarily require you to rent it out. Don't get me wrong. Don't bother Coach Guardiola with this kind of thing. He must be very tired during this period. Need a good rest. Enrique had to surrender and did not dare to be forceful. The consequences of forcing it were already in front of him, and he couldn't bear such responsibility. Seeing the deflated appearance of the other party, Lin Quan let out a bad breath in his heart, and immediately felt much better, so he changed his words with a smile. "Well, thank you coach for your kindness. In fact, I also think it is a good suggestion to rent him out to play high-level games." "Ah." Enrique was a bit out of his mind. Lin Quan just spoke fiercely. Wasn't it because he wanted to stay in Barcelona and didn't want to leave? Why have you changed your mind now? He was a little confused and didn't know what the other person was thinking in his mind. "I personally agree to rent it out, but for such a major matter, I am still young and cannot make the decision alone, so I have to go back to discuss it with my father and ask for his opinion. Coach, what do you think?" Enrique started to panic again. No need, you can just stay in Barcelona. There is no need to disturb Coach Guardiola with such a small matter. Just pretend that the previous things never happened. He was afraid that Lin Quan would hold a grudge and go back to complain to Guardiola. So he desperately wanted to stop Lin Quan. But how could things that Lin Quan had decided be changed so easily? How can this work? It's rare for you, coach, to give such good advice. I have to thank you. Otherwise, I am young and I'm afraid that I can't explain this matter clearly when I go back and cause misunderstandings, otherwise you will be hurt. Go there in person and explain your arrangements to my father. Lin Quan emphasized the words, misunderstanding. Enrique was really panicked when he heard these 4 words. No, I have something else to do, so I won't go. He was already starting to regret how he was so unlucky to have provoked such a difficult kid. Let him go to Guardiola's house and tell Guardiola that the club purged his adopted son. He's not a fool. He won't do this kind of taunting. So, after he finished speaking, he turned around and ran away, not daring to continue chatting with Lin Quan. He's going to have a heart attack if we talk about it anymore. Seeing Enrique's fleeing back, Lin Quan spread his hands. He couldn't bear to run away now. Shaking his head, he returned to the locker room, took a shower, changed his clothes, packed his things, and left the training base directly. From this moment on, he and the La Masia Youth Academy and the Barcelona club have severed all grievances. P.S. Sorry, I was busy moving during the day today, and I never had time to type, so I kept everyone waiting. There will be another chapter later, so book friends who can't stand it can wait until tomorrow to read it. Chapter 10 Contractual Issues. When I got home, I happened to see Guardiola playing football in the yard. Guardiola is a coach after retiring as a professional player. He occasionally plays football to relax. So in the yard behind their house, there is a large lawn and a goal, which is where the father and son play football. Why are you back so early today? Guardiola was a little surprised to see Lin Quan return home at this time. He has led Barcelona's youth team and is very aware of the training time of the youth team. And if he remembered correctly, the youth team will have a very important game to play in a few days, and they should be intensifying their training at this time. Based on his understanding of Lin Quan, he didn't seem like someone who would skip class without any reason. Therefore, there must be something fishy about this matter. The tea will get cold when we leave. Lin Quan took off his jacket, ran to the grass, and started sparring with Guardiola. Guardiola asked while controlling the ball. What's the arrangement at the club? Although he tried to keep his tone as calm as possible, Lin Quan still heard anger in his voice. They wanted to loan me out. Where to go? Werder Bremen of the Bundesliga. Guardiola was silent for a while. When Lin Quan expressed to him that he wanted to leave Barcelona, he had already begun to use his connections to find a suitable team and planned to let him go there for training. As a result, he didn't expect the club to move so quickly. Before he could contact his next partner, Barcelona couldn't wait to take action. Bundesliga. Guardiola pondered. He has never played in the Bundesliga, but he has played against Bundesliga teams many times and has a certain understanding of the Bundesliga. Compared to other leagues, the Bundesliga is a good place to go. They have a lot of young players, not only young talents from European countries, but also many young players from other continents playing here. This is because compared to other leagues, the Bundesliga has relatively loose quota restrictions for non-European players. They do not limit the number of registered non-European players, which makes young players from other countries outside the EU like to use the Bundesliga as a springboard when landing in the 5 major leagues. For example, many young players from Japan and South Korea started their overseas careers in the Bundesliga. In the past, many players from China have landed in the Bundesliga, but with the decline of the national football team and the rise of the Chinese Super League's golden dollar football bubble, the number of players who have the ability to meet the standards for studying abroad has dropped significantly. Even if there are occasionally a few who can meet the criteria for studying abroad, they are more inclined to stay in China and get contracts in Canada. After all, if you don't have to travel far and start over in an unfamiliar place, you can still get a very high salary by playing football in front of your own home, so everyone will naturally choose the latter. But for players from other non-European countries, they do not have such good conditions, so they go to the Bundesliga to accumulate experience in the 5 major leagues. While improving your own strength, wait for the time to mature, and after you become famous, you can consider moving to other leagues to get a big contract. Therefore, there are many young players in the Bundesliga. The average age of players in the entire league is the lowest among the 5 major leagues, only less than 25 years old. Thanks to the large number of young players joining, some Bundesliga teams have started a black shop business. They buy potential little demons at low prices, use their country's league and cup stages to cultivate the little demons, and wait until the little demons become famous, then sell them to wealthy teams in leagues such as the Premier League and La Liga at high prices, making a huge profit from them. Among them, the more famous one is Dortmund. Although Lin Quan did not go to Dortmund, all the major clubs like to buy people from the Bundesliga. As long as he performs well at Werder Bremen, he will be noticed by scouts from the 5 major leagues. It will not be difficult to transfer from Werder Bremen at that time. Thinking of this, Guardiola asked. How long do you have left on your contract with the club? The current problem is not only the loan, but also the contract with Barcelona. He could tell that Lin Quan was very dissatisfied with the club's behavior. Although he didn't say a bad word about the club, it can be seen from his cold attitude that he has no feelings for Barcelona anymore. In this way, even if he plays out at Werder Bremen, I am afraid he will not want to return to Barcelona. However, this matter is not something he can decide by himself. As long as he is still within his contract period, Barcelona can recall him after the loan contract ends. There is still 1 year left on the contract. Didn't you say before that you were going to take a break, so I didn't renew my contract with the club? Lin Quan currently has a youth training contract, which he signed with Barcelona when he was 13 years old. The contract period is 4 years and the annual salary is €22,000. Originally, when he turned 15 years old last year, he could sign a professional contract with Barcelona. But for those players whose strength is not particularly outstanding, Barcelona will not offer professional contracts to the opponent immediately. Instead, they will choose to continue to observe for a period of time until they are sure that the opponent can meet their requirements or can be sold for cash. Only then will they sign a professional contract. Originally, according to the plan, if Lin Quan did not leave this year, Barcelona should renew his contract. Otherwise, if he waits until next year to renew his contract, he may become a free agent and be abducted by other teams. But now, after Guardiola resigned, Barcelona has made it clear that it does not want to renew his contract, and Lin Quan himself has no intention of renewing his contract. Therefore, he only has the last year of his contract left. What is the liquidated damages in the contract? Guardiola also knows that this contract is the key to the problem. If the default amount of the contract is not large, he can buy it out with his own money. In that case, there is no need to be restricted by Barcelona. Same as Messi, €5 million. Lin Quan looked at Guardiola innocently, and the latter patted his bald head. He suddenly remembered that he had set the liquidated damages of this contract. I had high expectations for you, so I set the same penalty as Messi. Messi's contract penalty when he was in the youth team was also €5 million. Even so, Barcelona was still afraid that he would be abducted. When he turned 16, he immediately gave him a 9-year professional contract. Then at an extremely low salary, it took boss May 7 or 8 years. Barcelona knows how to do it for free. Chapter 11 Lease Contract. €5 million is not a small amount of money, and Lin Quan will definitely not be able to get it out of his own pocket. Guardiola can come up with the money, but Lin Quan doesn't want to give Barcelona away in vain. After all, Guardiola's family fortune is actually not particularly rich. When Guardiola was promoted from Barcelona's youth team in 2008, his salary was very low, less than €2 million. He got the big contract after coaching Barcelona for 2 years and winning 6 titles. In July 2010, after Guardiola renewed a 1+1 contract with Barcelona, his annual salary increased 5-fold to €10 million. With this contract, he became the highest-paid head coach in European football, second only to Mourinho. The contract was relatively short and did not allow him to accumulate too many assets. In the era when Guardiola played, players' salaries were generally not high. He was not Barcelona's biggest star, so he didn't get much money. Including a series of expenses over the years, such as purchasing real estate, sending children to school, etc., his current savings may only be about €20 million. Spending a quarter to buy out a youth training contract with only 1 year left is a loss no matter how you think about it. So when Guardiola offered to buy out Lin Quan's contract, Lin Quan refused. Lin Quan's contract only lasts for 1 year. When his loan period expires, the contract will expire. At that time, he won't have to pay a penny, and he will be free, so there is no need to spend this unjust money. Moreover, it is Enrique who is anxious to send him away now, rather than him actively asking to leave. In this case, he can't spend this money out of his own pocket. Okay, so what's your idea? Guardiola saw Lin Quan looking confident, so he asked. Enrique probably promised Russell that he would clear me out, so I think I can use this to blackmail him and force him to make concessions on the rental contract. Guardiola nodded. Now that Russell has spoken, if Enrique wants to take over, he will definitely find ways to complete the tasks assigned by the club president. The amount involved in a loan contract is generally not large. For a young player of Lin Quan's age, the loan fee usually does not exceed €500,000. Some teams will even require the team that owns the player to pay part or even all of the salary during the loan. Werder Bremen is a declining team, and his salary situation in recent years has not been ideal. Therefore, Lin Quan wants to force Barcelona to make concessions on the loan contract in exchange for his playing time at Werder Bremen. Since he was trained in the Bundesliga in the past, of course he can't just sit on the bench and watch his teammates play. He needs enough playing time, otherwise, he would rather not go out on loan and just play in the youth team. Although the intensity of the games in the Spanish second division is not as good as that of the Bundesliga, there is still football to play in the youth team. Of course, if an agreement can be reached, it would be better to loan him out, because with the club targeting him, his future playing time in the youth team has become uncertain. Yes, you are very thoughtful. Young players do need more playing time to accumulate experience in competitions. Well, while I am still the head coach of Barcelona, let me arrange your loan contract. Guardiola's contract with Barcelona will not expire until July. However, after playing the King's Cup final against Athletic Bilbao on May 26, he will leave the team and the remaining work will be handed over to the successor will take over. Hearing that Guardiola was about to take action, Lin Quan thought for a moment, shook his head, and rejected his kindness. I think it's better for you not to interfere. Huh? What's the reason? Guardiola was a little surprised. If he took action, he would definitely lean towards Lin Quan and help him get everything done. I didn't expect that such an arrangement would be rejected. This confused him greatly. Because you are about to leave Barcelona, arranging for me to be loaned out at this time. If the details are leaked by the club in the future, it is likely to cause criticism. Especially when I became famous in the Bundesliga and became a new star in football, my contract just expired. Barcelona will not be able to take me back by then. They will most likely use this loan contract to attack you. This is for you have a bad reputation. Guardiola couldn't help laughing when he heard Lin Quan's words. It seems like you are very confident about your future in the Bundesliga. You have begun to believe that you can become a new generation of stars. Of course, it doesn't matter who I learned football from. That man is a legend of Barcelona and the hottest head coach in football today. Wear it 1,000 times, but flattery never wears it. Lin Quan's flattery was very useful to Guardiola, because some of the negative emotions brought by the club had disappeared at this moment. Huh, you boy, I didn't have any outstanding achievements as a player. I only won one Champions League trophy and one European Winners' Trophy. Lin Quan curled his lips, he has won 2 of the 3 major European competitions. Is this still considered unwinnable? Guardiola finally accepted Lin Quan's suggestion and did not interfere in the matter, pretending to the outside world that he had no idea at all. He went to work as usual and studied his opponent's information as before. Preparing for the final opponent in the league and the Copa del Rey final a few weeks later. During this period, he even came to the youth team for work reasons. When Enrique was anxious, he greeted him as usual and did not mention Lin Quan and his loan at all. Like not knowing. This made Enrique breathe a sigh of relief, but at the same time he was also puzzled, this kid didn't snitch. As for Lin Quan, after he came to the youth training team the next day, he directly found Enrique and the sports director in charge of transfers Zubizarreta to discuss the club's loan. Zubizarreta is Russell's confidant. He knows that Russell wants to purge players who are closely related to Guardiola, so he is very active in renting Lin Quan and wants to show his loyalty in front of Russell. As for Enrique, he was eager to send this little ancestor away as soon as possible, so he didn't waste any time and directly took out the club's loan contract and handed it to Lin Quan. Lin Quan took a quick look. Barcelona's loan fee for loaning him to Werder Bremen was €300,000 a year. His salary was paid by Werder Bremen. The fixed annual salary was the same as Barcelona's, which was €22,000 a year. In addition, there are appearance fees, goal bonuses, assist bonuses, winning bonuses and appearance bonuses, etc. The amounts of these bonuses are not high. The appearance fee is €200, the goal bonus is €500, the assist bonus is €200, and the winning bonus is €500. When the number of appearances reaches 20 and 30 games, you can get €2,000 and €2,000 respectively. Award of €3,000. After all, it is a slave contract for the youth team, and Lin Quan does not have high expectations for the bonus amount of the contract. However, he feels that the money should be paid by Barcelona, at least the salary should be paid by Barcelona. After all, he is still a Barcelona player. As for the loan fee, Barcelona wants to send him out, so they can't ask Werder Bremen for the loan fee. So, Lin Quan stated his conditions. What? No rental fee. How is this possible? As soon as Zubizarreta heard Lin Quan's request, he immediately expressed his opposition. Barcelona is not an ordinary team, they are a giant. Players from wealthy teams, even players from youth teams, cannot be exempted from loan fees. It's for your players to use, it's to give you face, but you actually want to have sex for nothing? They have always used others for free, how could they be used by others for free? Enrique was also a little embarrassed, although he really wanted to send Lin Quan away. But he didn't want to break the rules of team operation, and Zubizarreta had more say in this matter than he, the coach of the youth team. If the person sitting here was Guardiola, the head coach of the first team, then Zubizarreta would definitely not dare to be so presumptuous, because the head coach can completely decide whether a player should stay or go. So he also persuaded Lin Quan. Lin, I think it's better not to waive the rental fee. Think about it, if you join Werder Bremen for free, the other party will get a player for free without spending a penny, so they may not value you, and may even doubt your ability. Think about why Barcelona wants to send you out without even asking for the loan fee. If you do this, it will definitely have a very negative impact on your playing in Werder Bremen. In order to increase his persuasiveness, Enrique decided to get the matter done as soon as possible. He continued, we at Barcelona will not treat our players badly. I will ask someone to redraft a loan contract and increase your bonus. If you think there is no problem, just sign the contract. Lin Quan was very confused about how much the other party could improve. Can a bonus of several €100 be spent? However, after taking a look at the numbers, Lin Quan was stunned. Enrique was so eager to send him away. Chapter 12 Heading to Bremen. Louis, are you crazy? Give him 10 times the bonus, which will almost reach the level of a first-team substitute player. After Lin Quan left, Zubizarreta asked Enrique angrily. Enrique didn't take it seriously and said with a smile. Mr. Zubizarreta, please don't be so excited. Lin Quan plays in the youth team as a midfielder, not a forward. It is not easy for players in this position to score goals. Although his statistics for the team last year were pretty good, it was just a youth team game after all. When he reaches a high-level league like the Bundesliga, he can't even guarantee playing time, so naturally he won't be able to achieve any gorgeous statistics. Moreover, Werder Bremen is a declining team. The financial situation of this team is worrying, and big-name players are leaving one after another. They are uncompetitive in the Bundesliga and cannot win many goals in a season. As a result, there are not enough goals and assists, and there are not many winning awards. Most of the bonuses in these awards have nothing to do with him. Even if the bonuses are more, what does it matter? Zubizarreta also calmed down after hearing what Enrique said. So, you drew a picture for him that looks good, but is destined to be uneatable. Enrique smiled proudly. You can't say that. If he really performs at a phenomenal level, he can naturally get these bonuses. Therefore, the key depends on whether he has the ability. Do you believe this? Zubizarreta was also a professional player. He did not believe that a young player under the age of 17 could lead a declining team to achieve great results. Even Messi does not have such strength at this age, let alone an ordinary player. So it's okay to deceive a child who is not familiar with the world, but it's far from fooling an old man like him. Enrique nodded. Lin is too young. I'm afraid he doesn't know how cruel the professional arena is. The two use their career experience to scheme against a young player. If this kind of thing spreads, it will probably be shameful. But the two completed the tasks assigned by the club chairman and suddenly felt relaxed. So, Enrique suggested. Going out to relax after get off work today? I know a few good places. After signing the loan contract, Lin Quan went to say goodbye to several friends from the youth team. Deulofeu was a little reluctant to leave his friend, but when he learned that Lin Quan was loaned to a Bundesliga team, he was a little envious. Damn it, why doesn't any team like me? Am I not strong? After all, he has represented the first team several times and should be more famous than Lin Quan. But now that Lin is all on loan, no one cares about him, which makes Deulofeu a little confused. Gerard, if you really want to go out on loan, you can apply to the club. I believe they will definitely let you go. Barcelona is happy to let young players who are temporarily unable to play in the first team go out for training. What's more, Deulofeu is a potential player that Barcelona is very optimistic about. If he takes the initiative to apply, Barcelona has no possibility of rejecting him. Well, forget it, I still want to stay. After all, wearing a red and blue jersey and playing for Barcelona has always been my dream. After hearing what Lin Quan said, Deulofeu hesitated again. It can be seen that he is just talking about it, and actually does not want to leave Barcelona, even if he has no place in Barcelona for the time being. Lin Quan shook his head helplessly. Barcelona had many choices at the winger position. With Messi, Sanchez, Pedro, and Villa as a winger, it is almost impossible for the young Deulofeu to steal their positions. This season is coming to an end, and training for the new season usually starts in July. Therefore, Lin Quan had enough time to prepare. I'm a little worried about you going to Germany alone. At dinner, Sierra said worriedly. I heard that the weather in Germany is very cold, and the eating habits are completely different from us here. I'm worried that you won't be used to living and eating there, and if you are asked to play for the senior team so early, I'm afraid you will get hurt. After finishing speaking, Sarah looked at Guardiola with some complaints, seeming to blame the other party for deciding to rent out Lin Quan without consulting him in advance. The son traveled thousands of miles, and the mother was worried. Lin Quan was traveling far away for the first time, and to a foreign country thousands of miles away. This worried her as an adoptive mother. Guardiola coughed in embarrassment. In fact, this matter was not decided by him, but was requested by Lin Quan himself. I also know some people in Germany. I will say hello to them and ask them to take care of Lin Quan. Don't worry. After Guardiola announced his resignation from Barcelona, he was invited by countless clubs who wanted him to coach. Among them are many Bundesliga teams, including Bundesliga leader Bayern Munich. Because of this, he knows the management of many Bundesliga clubs. As long as he opens his mouth, those people are willing to help him. Sarah, who has known Guardiola for so many years, has no doubt about Guardiola's connections. When Guardiola said this, she was slightly relieved, but she was still not reassured. Are those people reliable? Don't promise to help, but in fact you don't care at all. Guardiola didn't know how to answer this sentence. He couldn't guarantee that those people would fulfill their promises seriously. Seeing his lover's worried look, Guardiola had no choice but to continue. Well, after this season is over, we will go to Germany together to help Lin Quan arrange things there. By the way, we will say hello to the Werder Bremen club executives and ask them to take more care of you. Do you think it will work? Regarding Guardiola's arrangement, Sarah finally showed a satisfied smile on his face. That's about it. Lin, what do you think of Pep's arrangement? Lin Quan nodded repeatedly, and Guardiola took action personally, so what else could he say? As soon as she heard that she was going to Germany, Guardiola's eldest daughter, 11-year-old Maria, immediately started clamoring to go skiing in the Alps. The ski resorts in the Alps are the top ski resorts in Europe. It is a very good choice to go here to escape the heat and take a vacation in the summer. As a result, the family enthusiastically made plans to travel to Germany. 20 days later, Barcelona defeated Athletic Bilbao 3-0 at the Calderón Stadium with goals from Pedro and Messi, and won the Copa del Rey. This is the 14th and last championship trophy Guardiola has won since coaching Barcelona. After the season ended, when media around the world were hyping up which team Guardiola would be coaching next season, the whole family quietly took a plane and arrived in Bremen, a city in northwestern Germany. Chapter 13 Guardiola personally visits. Werder Bremen is the northernmost team in the Bundesliga. It is located in the state of Bremen. Its home stadium is the Weser Stadium, located on the banks of the Weser River that runs through the city center. The team's training base is right next to the stadium, and the location is easy to find. The flight taken by Lin Quan and others landed at Bremen City Airport. Bremen City Airport is not far from the city center like other airports, its location is only 3.5 kilometers from the city center. Therefore, after getting off the plane, it only took more than 10 minutes for the group to reach their destination. The sudden visit of Guardiola and his team made everyone at Werder Bremen feel a little stunned and shocked. After meeting Guardiola, many staff showed uncontrollable expressions of surprise on their faces. Could it be said that the next stop for this legendary young coach will be Werder Bremen? Thinking about it carefully, it doesn't seem impossible. This season, due to the team's poor performance, club manager Alofs has given up and plans to defect to Wolfsburg, another Bundesliga team. After hearing the news, Thomas Schaff, the old partner who was close to Alofs and the head coach of the team for 13 years, also had the idea of leaving. These two are veterans who took over the team in 1999. If they were to leave, it would be nothing less than a violent earthquake for Werder Bremen. Therefore, the club needs to start looking for its next coach and club manager. And it seems that it is not completely impossible for the fans and club executives who are fed up with the team's deteriorating record to make up their minds and spend a lot of money to hire the most popular legendary young coach in football today. Based on Guardiola's achievements in the past few seasons, if he really came to coach Werder Bremen, then Werder Bremen fans would probably laugh out of their dreams. After learning the news, Werder Bremen club chairman Klaus Fischer took first vice president Hesse Grunewald, sports director Eschen, club manager Alofs and others to go out in person. Welcome Guardiola and his team. We didn't expect that coach Guardiola, who the entire football world is looking for, would come to Werder Bremen at this time. It really surprised us. Chairman Klaus shook hands with Guardiola politely, and then introduced the management of the clubs around him in turn. Guardiola also took this opportunity to introduce his family, and waited until the two parties had finished introducing each other. Chairman Klaus asked with some confusion, "I wonder what's the matter with Coach Guardiola's sudden visit?" He made sure that he did not send a coaching invitation to Guardiola. Werder Bremen is just a small club in the middle and lower reaches and cannot afford a head coach of Guardiola's level. If nothing else, Guardiola's salary alone is beyond their affordability. Werder Bremen's total revenue last season was only €73 million, and Guardiola's salary alone was €10 million. They simply cannot afford this kind of salary. Besides, it's impossible for Guardiola to like a small club like theirs. Therefore, he wanted to know what happened when the other party suddenly visited. The biggest possibility is that Guardiola has taken a liking to a certain young player in their team, so he personally went out to recruit him. However, it is now the end of May, and the Bundesliga schedule ended a month ago. Werder Bremen has been on vacation for more than half a month, and the players have already gone back to their respective homes to look for their mothers. Coming to the club to find players at this time is not asking for fish in a tree. The more he couldn't figure it out, the more curious he became. Guardiola had long guessed that his arrival would cause unnecessary trouble. Fortunately, his arrival was sudden and did not alert reporters. Otherwise, there would have been many gossipy reports the next day. So, he immediately explained. "That's right, Werder Bremen submitted a loan application to Barcelona before, and I'm here for this." "Lease application?" Klaus looked at sports director Eschen, who recalled it and nodded. "There is such a thing. Our team's midfield bench is not deep enough. According to the coach's wishes, we submitted loan applications to 6 wealthy clubs. In the end, only Chelsea and Barcelona responded to our request and agreed to loan players to us." Hearing the other party mention the name Chelsea, Lin Quan was heartbroken and interrupted and asked, "What's the name of the player on loan from Chelsea?" Eschen glanced at Lin Quan, then looked at the club chairman and asked him for instructions. Things like loaning out are uncertain before the players come to the team to report. The home team may regret it at any time, and other teams may also intercept it during the transfer period. The new season has not yet started, and they do not want to reveal relevant information prematurely to avoid adversely affecting their team's preparations. Therefore, Lin Quan's question is actually a bit taboo. However, Klaus Fischer, chairman of Werder Bremen, waved his hand generously and said, "The player's name is Kevin De Bruyne, a 21-year-old young midfielder." Hearing this name, Lin Quan showed a smile on his face. Sure enough, it was De Bruyne. Lin Quan remembered that after joining Chelsea, he could not integrate well into Mourinho's tactical system. So he was loaned to the Bundesliga and played for a while. The team that loaned him out seems to be Werder Bremen. Now it seems that my memory is not wrong. De Bruyne is indeed going to be loaned out. The thought of working with this future top midfielder in football next season makes Lin Quan even more confident about next season. Seeing Lin Quan's happy face after hearing De Bruyne's name, everyone at Werder Bremen club was a little confused and didn't know why the other party was so happy. Could it be that he is a fan of De Bruyne and went all the way to Werder Bremen to chase stars? No way. Although De Bruyne is somewhat famous, he is not that big, right? Ahem, that's it. Chairman Klaus, the midfielder Barcelona loaned to your team is my eldest son. Seeing that Lin Quan had taken the subject of the conversation astray, Guardiola coughed lightly and quickly brought the topic back. He solemnly introduced his adopted son to the people at Werder Bremen club. He plays as a defensive midfielder in the youth team and has the delicate footwork and excellent overall view of La Masia players. Before I left Barcelona, I planned to train him as Xavi's successor. Today, I solemnly hand him over to you. I hope you can train him well and not waste his talent. Trust me, you will be proud to have him. After Guardiola finished speaking, everyone on the opposite side of Werder Bremen was stunned. Isn't it? The legendary young coach in football made a special trip to be a lobbyist for his own son. This background is too hard. Chapter 14 Homestay. Klaus Fischer is an experienced veteran. He can see that Guardiola attaches great importance to Lin Quan and recognizes Lin Quan's strength. He believes that with Guardiola's character, he should not lie. Therefore, Lin Quan's strength should be good, but good strength may not necessarily mean he is suitable. The main reason why Werder Bremen's results are not good is because they advocate offense. Head coach Thomas Schaaf's 4-4-2 formation will assist both fullbacks when attacking, and even the centre-back will participate in the attack. This resulted in them being stacked with too many players up front and empty at the back. Once the enemy counterattacks, it is easy to penetrate their defenses and cause a one-on-one strike. In the Bundesliga last season, Werder Bremen ranked first in the league in the number of single shots. This is not something to be praised for. In order to solve this problem, Werder Bremen needs a strong midfielder, especially a defensive midfielder who is good at interception. It would be best to be like Makelele or Vieira. Of course, this is impossible. It is simply impossible for a player of this level to join Werder Bremen. So they had no choice but to search for suitable candidates from young players from wealthy clubs and loan them out. As a result, Barcelona gave them an organizational midfielder, which made Bremen a little confused about what to do. Since they have loaned De Bruyne from Chelsea, the team's organizer is the attacking midfielder, and the defensive midfielder can concentrate on defense and does not need to participate too much in the offense. Therefore, Klaus and others feel that it may be difficult for Lin Quan to integrate into Werder Bremen's tactical system. Therefore, he did not mention Lin Quan's tactical status in the team after joining Werder Bremen, playing time and other matters related to the team's tactical level. He just assured Guardiola that the club would take good care of Lin Quan, which reassured them. Small and medium-sized clubs like Werder Bremen, who are short of money, often need to rely on loan players to take the lead. If the reputation of the team is ruined, no one will cooperate with them in the future. Therefore, Guardiola still has no doubts about Klaus's guarantee. So, he discussed with the club the issue of Lin Quan's accommodation arrangements. The club gave two options. The first one was to let Lin Quan live with the club's young players. The second was to board him with a die-hard fan of the club. Guardiola respected Lin Quan's choice and agreed to the second option. So Klaus asked sports director Eschen to drive them to a boarding house near the stadium. This family is a family of four, a couple in their late 30s. The male owner's name was William Victor, a distributor for a local brewer. The heroine's name is Anna Victor, a civil servant who works in the city hall. This is a typical upper-middle-class family in Germany. The couple's combined annual income is about 100,000 euros, which is a good income and a certain social status. The couple has a pair of lovely blonde children. Their daughter Angel is 12 years old, about the same age as Guardiola's eldest daughter. Their son Greenie is 10 years old and is still in elementary school. This family of four are all die-hard Werder Bremen fans. As long as there is a Werder Bremen home game, they will almost never miss it, and the whole family will go out to watch it together. The couple is about the same age as Guardiola, and Lin Quan is currently a Werder Bremen player. The two parties had a lively conversation as soon as they met. Guardiola and Sarah were very satisfied with this host family. Before leaving, Guardiola enthusiastically gave Greenie a football signed by himself. The William family gave Guardiola a barrel of his treasured pure grain beer. In order to adapt to the team as soon as possible, Lin Quan did not choose to go skiing in Switzerland with Guardiola and others. Instead, he chose to stay in Bremen and train on his own before the team started training. There is a big gap between the intensity of the youth team games and the Bundesliga games. If he plays in the Bundesliga with the mentality of playing in the youth team, he will definitely be tortured and confused. So, he still has a lot of work to do before the league starts. For example, improve your physical reserves so that you have enough physical strength to adapt to the intensity of the Bundesliga competition. In addition, you need to strengthen your body's ability to deal with traps so that you won't fall down when someone touches you. In addition, you should also watch the team's game videos from the past few seasons and study the team's technical and tactical play in order to better integrate into the team's tactical system. Lin Quan is not very worried about the issues that Klaus is worried about. Although he previously played as a defensive midfielder in the Barcelona youth team, after copying the attributes of peak Messi, he can play in many positions, including wingers, shadow forwards, attacking midfielders, and even a center forward. Of course, there is no problem in returning to his old job and playing as a defensive midfielder. After joining Paris Saint-Germain, the elderly Messi played the most as a playmaker. Therefore, his responsibilities do not conflict with De Bruyne's, and the task of organizing the series can be left to De Bruyne. The role of the Terminator in the final blow is played by him. If De Bruyne is targeted by his opponent, he can completely drop back and take over the task of organizing the offense, playing as a double attacking midfielder. Of course, none of this can be decided by him. What he has to do is prove to the head coach that he is capable of playing these positions. The Homestay family lives very close to the team's training base, less than 2 kilometers away. He's too old to get a driver's license yet, and he doesn't need to drive for such a short distance. So Lin Quan spent €200 to buy a bicycle as a means of transportation to and from get off work. That night, Anna cooked a sumptuous meal at home and welcomed Lin Quan to join her. "Lin, don't be restrained here, just treat this place as your own home." Anna smiled and poured Lin Quan a glass of juice. Because he was underage, he could not drink. And for professional players, drinking is also an inappropriate behavior and will affect their competitive state. "Thank you, Mrs. Anna." Lin Quan politely thanked him and took the juice. William poured himself a glass of beer and took over the conversation. "We at Werder Bremen have always been very tolerant of young players. The team captain Fritz is a very decent guy. With him, you will not be bullied in the team." After saying this, William's eyes dimmed a little and he sighed. "It's a pity that Wees guy is gone." The Wees in William's mouth, whose full name is Tim Wees, was Werder Bremen's main goalkeeper last season. Known as the heir to the Lion King Khan, he is an unruly but passionate goalkeeper. Such a person can easily become the spiritual leader of a team, and Wees plays such a role in Bremen. Wees has outstanding strength and has played for Werder Bremen for a long time. He has made great contributions to Werder Bremen, so he is deeply loved by the fans. His departure deeply regretted many fans. William realized that his emotions had affected everyone, so he stopped continuing the topic, but raised his glass and sent his blessing to Lin Quan. "Lin, I wish you can establish yourself in the team as soon as possible and become our pride." Chapter 15 The coach's determination, rewards will be added. The next day, Lin Quan got up early in the morning. After breakfast, he took the football and rode his bicycle to the base for training. Werder Bremen's training base is very close to the Weser Stadium, and the Weser Stadium is a landmark building in the city of Bremen. So even for a newcomer like Lin Quan, as long as he knows the direction of the stadium, he won't get lost. Because the team has already been on vacation, the club is also in a semi-vacation state. Uncle Grave, the security guard guarding the base, was surprised that there were players coming for training at this time. "Hey kid, are you really a player on our team?" He looked Lin Quan up and down. He had never seen him in the team before, and he was not wearing a Werder Bremen jersey, so he was very suspicious of Lin Quan's identity. "If it's fake, if you don't believe it, you can call the club's management, Mr. Eschen or Mr. Olafs. If you have the phone number of the club chairman, Mr. Klaus Fischer, just call him. Lin Quan stood calmly at the gate of the base, not nervous at all when facing the security guard's questions. Graves saw that he named several members of the club's management in one breath and looked calm, and he was already convinced. However, Germans are relatively rigid, which sounds better called rigorous. He actually called the club manager Alofs to confirm Lin Quan's identity. Alofs had only met Lin Quan yesterday, and he was very surprised when Graves reported that Lin Quan had come to the club to practice extra time. So he drove over personally and took Lin Quan into the team's training base. Over there is the training ground for the youth team, and here is the training ground for the home team. The locker room is over here, and here is. After introducing the various facilities of the training base, Olof paused and said seriously. It's a good thing to take the initiative to train more, but you must pay attention to controlling the amount of training, so as not to injure yourself through training too much. You are still young and have plenty of time, so don't rush. Although he is not optimistic about Lin Quan's perfect integration into Werder Bremen's tactical system, he appreciates or likes hardworking players like Lin Quan. Especially when a player is still very young, he can resist the temptation of the colorful world outside the court, calm down, consolidate his foundation, and work hard to improve his skills. This is a very rare quality. Lin Quan nodded. After some contact, he felt that Alofs was easy to get along with. It can be seen that he has feelings for the club, but judging from how worried he is, the rumors that he wants to leave may be true. In the dimension before Lin Quan crossed over, Alofs left Werder Bremen in 2013. That season Werder Bremen barely escaped relegation until the last game. Perhaps the poor results were the biggest reason that prompted him to make up his mind to leave. In other words, if the team's record improves this season, Alofs may not choose to leave. But this has nothing to do with Lin Quan. He is just here on loan for 1 year. When the loan contract expires next year, he will most likely leave. By that time, whether Alofs or head coach Thomas Love leaves or stays will have little to do with him. For a period of time after that, Lin Quan went to the club to train step by step every day. The main content of training is divided into training with the ball and training without the ball, which are all routine training contents of professional teams. The amount of training at the beginning was not heavy, mainly because I was afraid of getting injured. Later, after your physical condition adjusts, you can slowly increase the amount of training. After the training volume increases to a certain level, it will stabilize and no longer increase. At this age, he is in a critical stage of body growth. Excessive training will cause irreversible damage to the body. Every time Lin Quan trains, Alofs will quietly observe from the sidelines for a while. A week later, there was another person on the sidelines. Lin Quan didn't know this person, but seeing how familiar he was with Alofs, he had some guesses about his identity. The two men did not disturb Lin Quan's training, but occasionally came over to take a look and chat a few words. Thomas, what do you think of him? Alofs has been observing Lin Quan for 2 weeks and has a very good understanding of Lin Quan's technical abilities. This is a young player with very solid skills, delicate footwork and full of intelligence. In him, Alofs also saw the shadow of Xavi, Iniesta and even Messi. The opponent seems to have combined the strengths of these three people into one, possessing both organizational and finishing abilities. As expected of being produced by La Masia, it is truly a quality product. Unfortunately, there is currently no actual combat drill to verify his judgment, so he is not sure whether his judgment is accurate. So he roped in his friend and partner, the club's head coach Thomas Schaff, and asked him to come over and watch Lin Quan's training together. Schaffer looked at it intently for a long time, and then quietly replied. The technology is very good, but he is too young. There are many potential new stars in football, but not many can actually succeed in the end. Take the Golden Boy Award as an example. Players who can win the Golden Boy Award will definitely be unanimously recognized by everyone for their performance during the period when they win the award. However, their future careers were not all smooth sailing. Many of them were not kicked out and were called super parallel imports. For example, the European Golden Boy Anderson, whom Manchester United purchased at a high price, was not kicked out at Manchester United at all, causing this €20 million signing to be criticized. Anderson was already 19 when he joined Manchester United, and Lin Quan is only 16 this year. The risk of betting on him is probably greater than the risk of Ferguson betting on Anderson. Alofs obviously disagrees with this statement. I don't think you should deny the opponent's strength just because he is young. Don't forget, Werder Bremen's youngest appearance record is held by you. If the original coach also denied young players like you, then can you still get ahead? Scharf, you have changed. You have become conservative. Is it because the team's poor record has made you conservative and lost your previous calmness and confidence? Thomas Schaff fell silent after hearing his friend's words. He couldn't help but wonder, has he really changed? The club was still in the championship group of the league 3 seasons ago, but it suddenly collapsed last season and fell directly into the relegation team. The situation deteriorated further last season, and the team almost entered the abyss of relegation. This summer, 14 players, including main goalkeeper Wies, transferred away, half of whom were the team's main players. Under this situation, the team's pressure to avoid relegation in the new season is unprecedentedly huge, and there is no room for him to make any mistakes. And he probably became conservative under such tremendous pressure. You're right, I shouldn't be so conservative. With our current lineup, no matter how conservative we are, there is no guarantee that we will be able to avoid relegation. In this case, we might as well give it a try. Thanks to the classmates of I Want to Become an Immortal, for the reward, thank you very much. Chapter 16 The First Meeting with De Bruyne. Time flies quickly, and a month has passed in the blink of an eye. At the end of June, the day for team training is getting closer. Werder Bremen's training camp for the new season will begin on July 3rd. Before that, players have to rush to the team from all over the country to gather. The first one to arrive must be Lin Quan himself. After all, he has been training alone in the base for more than a month. Through this period of training, he has fully adapted to the various abilities of peak Messi. In the future, using Boss May's various stunts will not be so awkward. Not only that, his height increased by 1 centimeter to 173 centimeters. The weight also increased from the previous 65 kilograms to 67 kilograms. The increase in height and weight made his originally thin body become stronger. The ability of physical confrontation has also improved, and the ability to hold the ball has become stronger. Aha! There was a crisp sound, and the football drew a wonderful arc, high over the wall, then fell rapidly, and entered the goal from the upper left corner of the goal. On this day, he arrived at the training ground early, but found that someone had arrived earlier than him. This is a young player with a height of about 1.8 meters and blonde hair. The opponent didn't notice Lin Quan's arrival and was still shooting. Lin Quan took a look on the sidelines and found that the opponent was practicing a free kick. However, rather than saying that he was practicing, it would be better to say that he was venting his anger. That kick was as if football had a grudge against him. However, by kicking the ball with such great force, the ball can accurately fly into the goal frame from the blind corner of the goal. I have to say, this guy's footwork is outstanding. Seeing this, he had already guessed the identity of this person. This should be the player on loan from Chelsea, Kevin De Bruyne. Bang bang bang. Lin Quan applauded the opponent's wonderful footwork. Hearing the applause, De Bruyne stopped and looked back at him. Seeing that the other party was wearing the same team uniform as himself, he nodded to Lin Quan as a greeting. After saying hello, he continued to immerse himself in training and had no intention of greeting Lin Quan. Lin Quan knew that De Bruyne was a taciturn and introverted player, so he didn't pay much attention to his behavior. If he sees himself and comes to greet him enthusiastically, then he will wonder if something is wrong with De Bruyne. He had no intention of disturbing De Bruyne's training, so he went to the equipment room and took out the training equipment. After choosing a new venue and setting up the training facilities, he started practicing alone. After practicing for about half an hour, Lin Quan noticed that someone seemed to be watching him. So I glanced towards the sidelines and found that De Bruyne had stopped training at some point and was standing on the sidelines watching him practice. Seeing Lin Quan looking at him, De Bruyne blushed and quickly turned his head away. He felt like he had been caught doing something bad, and he was actually a little embarrassed. Is something wrong? Lin Quan couldn't help laughing when he saw this guy blushing. I've always heard people say that Ding Ding is shy, but I didn't expect him to be so shy. Ahem, no, nothing happened. De Bruyne said a little embarrassedly, as if he had mustered up a lot of courage to say this, which was very difficult. It's really not easy to get him to say 8 words. Seeing that the other party had nothing to say, Lin Quan simply ignored him and continued training. However, when he continued to train, De Bruyne still stood on the sidelines and did not leave. Therefore, Lin Quan had to stop again and repeated the question just now. Are you sure you're okay? De Bruyne shouldn't say it's okay anymore. After all, if it was really okay, he wouldn't stand here and not leave. Hello, my name is Kevin De Bruyne. Nice to meet you. Are you practicing breakthroughs? Lin Quan walked over, stretched out his hand, and gave De Bruyne a friendly shake. Hello, my name is Lin Quan. As you can see, I am indeed practicing breakthrough techniques. How about it? Are you interested in practicing together? De Bruyne plays in the front court. This position requires certain dribbling and passing skills. This is very helpful for them to get rid of defensive players and find more suitable routes for the ball. The 21-year-old De Bruyne is not as technically delicate and skilled as he will be in the future. His style of play is free and unrestrained, and his technique is a bit rough. These are not in line with Chelsea's requirements. So, unable to find a place at Chelsea, he was forced to leave the team on loan and came to the Bundesliga to train. The marketing of Bundesliga teams, especially ordinary teams, is not very good, and the club's income is not high. Although it has the top football market in Europe, it is far inferior to the Premier League and La Liga in terms of commercial development. In order to control costs, the salary expenditures of the middle and lower Bundesliga teams are generally not high, and the signings are also relatively conservative. This gives young players the opportunity to find their own stage here. For De Bruyne, being able to play in the Bundesliga is definitely better than sitting on the bench at Chelsea. After experiencing the pain of joining and being exiled from a wealthy club, De Bruyne became increasingly dissatisfied with his own strength. He urgently hopes to improve his strength as soon as possible and prove his ability on the field as soon as possible. So that those bastards at Chelsea can see that it's not that he's not capable, it's that Chelsea didn't give him a chance. Therefore, he readily accepted Lin Quan's invitation. Lin Quan didn't know what De Bruyne was thinking. He invited him to train together just because he wanted to find a partner so that he could become more familiar with Messi's various breakthrough skills in actual confrontations. As a result, the two hit it off and started sparring enthusiastically. You come first or me first? Lin Quan held the ball, looked at De Bruyne with a smile, and said to him. De Bruyne saw the football at Lin Quan's feet, so he lowered his center of gravity slightly, blocked the core area at the top of the penalty area, and assumed a defensive posture. De Bruyne's defensive ability is not particularly outstanding, but he still knows the basic skills of defense. However, when defensive players face offensive players one-on-one, they are in a passive position, and the offensive side has at least 2 breakthrough routes to choose from. Therefore, they can only choose to block the route with the greatest threat and force the opponent to go to the other side. De Bruyne chose to block the inside and gave up the outside, that is, the wing to Lin Quan. This is the choice of most defenders when facing breakthroughs from the wing. De Bruyne's idea was to give Lin Quan a chance to overtake on the wing, but when the opponent broke through vertically, the ball passed him, using physical confrontation to disrupt his rhythm and pace, causing him to lose the ball. There is no problem with this strategy, but the problem is that Lin Quan will not cooperate with him obediently. I saw him moving vertically with the ball and observing De Bruyne's footsteps. De Bruyne's focus has been on the back foot, turning sideways to prepare for the pursuit. Suddenly, Lin Quan leaned forward and made a move to step forward for the ball. Seeing that the opponent's center of gravity had changed, De Bruyne immediately took a step back without doubting that he was there. As a result, Lin Quan suddenly pulled the ball to the right and completed the breakthrough against De Bruyne with a simple swing of his body. De Bruyne froze on the spot. This way of passing was too simple as eating and drinking. But the problem is, with such a simple method, why did he end up being passed over like a wooden stake? Chapter 17 The head coach's surprising discovery. Come again. De Bruyne said unconvinced. Although Lin Quan felt that his defense was a bit weak, no matter how weak it was still better than a dummy that couldn't move, right? So he gladly accepted his challenge. This time it was supposed to be Lin Quan's defense, but De Bruyne broke through. But De Bruyne wanted to intercept Lin Quan's ball. He gave up the opportunity to actively attack and continued to stand in a defensive position. Obviously, this is a guy who refuses to admit defeat easily. Lin Quan repeated his old trick after holding the ball. This time De Bruyne was still fooled by Lin Quan's fake move, but he did not make the move easily. Obviously, he has discovered that Lin Quan can interfere with his judgment through changes in the center of gravity. If he thinks that the opponent is going to break through from this direction just because the opponent's center of gravity has moved, he is likely to be deceived. However, what De Bruyne didn't expect was that while he didn't move, Lin Quan on the opposite side moved. I saw him move the ball forward, his body accelerated instantly, and he rushed past De Bruyne like a gust of wind. By the time De Bruyne reacted, it was already too late. Not only was there no opportunity to stretch his feet to destroy, but there was no opportunity for physical confrontation. After completing the breakthrough, Lin Quan stopped the ball and looked at De Bruyne strangely. "Kevin, seeing that my focus has changed, why don't you step out and destroy it?" De Bruyne is also reflecting on this issue. "I was fooled by your fake moves before. After seeing your center of gravity change just now, I was worried that it was another fake move, so my reaction was a little slower." Lin Quan nodded and approved his answer. This is not a problem for De Bruyne alone, it is a common problem for all defenders facing Messi. Messi's movement frequency is faster than that of ordinary players, and his extremely outstanding talent allows him to easily change his center of gravity and make various deceptive fake moves. If the defensive player discovers the change in his center of gravity and blocks the direction in which he intends to break through, then Messi will use his faster frequency to quickly change the direction of the breakthrough in a very short period of time, and the defensive player's body has already it was difficult to keep up with his rhythm, so I could only watch him leave. It would be easier for Messi if the defensive players were not deceived and blocked his breakthrough line. He only needs to continue to break forward to easily pass the defender. After all, Messi's movement frequency is faster than that of most players. If you fail to keep up with his movements in the first step, it is absolutely impossible to catch up with him in his second step. In short, compared to ordinary offensive players, Messi combines the two steps of fake action plus breakthrough into one. The average offensive player needs to make a fake move first, deceive the defensive player and then use the opponent's mistake to complete the pass. But Messi is different. He fuses these two actions together, causing every one of his actions to look like a fake action. No matter what choice you make, he can get past you. Therefore, defending Messi cannot rely on experience, but on prediction. Only defensive players with top-notch predictions can possibly guard Messi. In today's football world, such people are rare. If you do it again, I won't believe that I can't find a way to defend you. De Bruyne saw how powerful Lin Quan was, but this stimulated his fighting spirit even more. The opponent is only 16 or 17 years old at best, probably just a member of Werder Bremen's youth team. If he can't guard against such a person, then he should just buy a piece of tofu and kill him. Half an hour later. "Stop kicking, I'm exhausted." De Bruyne was so tired that he collapsed to the ground, his body was in a large shape, his eyes were looking at the sky blankly, and he had begun to doubt his life. Who am I, where am I, what am I doing? Why did I get passed by a little brat 70 times, but I didn't even get a successful tackle? Can I play football? Lin Quan was also very tired, and his continuous passing put a heavy burden on his knees. Even if De Bruyne doesn't call for stop, he will take the initiative to call for stop. I don't know how Messi has persisted for so many years. Lin Quan feels that with such frequent acceleration, changes of direction and passing people, his knees will be scrapped sooner or later. Since the last in-depth conversation with Olaf's, Werder Bremen head coach Thomas Schaff has relaxed his mind and no longer puts so much pressure on himself. However, letting go of the pressure doesn't mean it's over. He has feelings for the team and does not want the team to be relegated in his hands. Therefore, even if the cards in his hand are not good, he will try his best to make changes and combine these cards to maximize their power. As for whether Werder Bremen can continue to stay in the Bundesliga after the end of the season, it depends on fate. Because the team left many old players in the new season and also rented many new players, he needs to adjust the team's starting lineup. To select the most suitable starting lineup, you must have a full understanding of the information of these young players in the team. It is best to complete this work before the start of training camp in the new season, so that he can understand the technical characteristics of each player at the beginning of training camp. If the players fail to meet his requirements, he can also use the summer transfer window to strengthen the team. So, he ended his vacation early and drove to the club, intending to get into work early. As a result, when passing by the training ground, I saw Lin Quan and De Bruyne training. Schaaf was a little curious to see the two training together. These two people should have a competitive relationship in the team. I thought they would be difficult to get along with, but unexpectedly they became familiar with each other so quickly. With a curious attitude, he watched from the sidelines for a while. At this sight, he couldn't move. Half an hour later, the two young players collapsed to the ground from exhaustion, while Schaaf on the sidelines was so excited that he couldn't help himself. 70 times, a total of 70 times, they successfully broke through, but the opponent didn't even succeed in defending once. This shocked him so much that it felt like he was watching a science fiction movie. Although De Bruyne's defense had certain problems, the opponent did not make a single mistake, all were successful, and even used no less than 10 breakthrough techniques. Is such a powerful breakthrough ability something you should have at this age? This is too outrageous, right? How could Barcelona be willing to let such a player out on loan? Are they not afraid of being abducted by other teams? Did our team pick up a breakthrough king for nothing? Such players, placed in any team, are the core of future wingers who focus on training. It is the kind of core that can be built around him, just like Messi and Ronaldo. However, he remembered that this guy played as a defensive midfielder in the Barcelona youth team. In the end, Barcelona has poor vision and doesn't know how to employ people. Or is it that a cosmic team like Barcelona has developed a new tactic of placing wingers on the defensive midfielder? Chapter 18 Training begins. On July 3rd, the team's training day arrived. First-team players are arriving at the club one after another because the team has undergone a major overhaul in the off-season. So the old players returning to the first team saw a host of new faces. In this regard, most of them were very calm and their attitude was lukewarm. They couldn't say they liked the new players, nor could they say they disliked them. It was more like an attitude of not wanting to deal with them. However, the team's veteran captain, 31-year-old Clemens Fritz, welcomed the young players. Welcome to Werder Bremen, this is a great club and I believe you will fall in love with it. Except for a few young players who were promoted from the youth team who were very excited, the other players who transferred during the off-season responded relatively coldly and only applauded perfunctorily. Seeing this situation, Lin Quan bumped into De Bruyne who was dazed beside him with his arm and said to him, "Come on, let's go say hello to the captain." De Bruyne is unfamiliar with the team and only knows Lin Quan. Being introverted by nature, he would stay in the corner and listen to music quietly on such occasions. But after hearing Lin Quan's words, he immediately put down his Walkman and followed Lin Quan obediently towards Fritz. "Hello, Captain, I am Lin Quan, and this is De Bruyne. We are newcomers who have just joined the team. Captain, please take care of us." Hello, I heard the coach mention you. He praised your two talents. Perform well in the new season. The team needs fresh blood like you. Fritz also likes such polite and sensible young people, especially compared with another player on loan from Bayern Munich, Lin Quan, and De Bruyne's impression in his mind instantly improved a lot. They are all loaned players from proud families. The players from Barcelona and Chelsea are so polite and respect the big brother of the team. Is this how noble you are of Bayern? So after greeting Lin Quan and De Bruyne, he also took them to greet other veteran players of the team, introduced them to the veterans of these teams, and helped them integrate into the team as soon as possible. In addition, he also cared about the lives of Lin Quan and De Bruyne in Germany. Neither of them are native Germans, and they may not adapt to a strange place when they first arrived. Therefore, he said that if you have any trouble, you can go to him for help. He has lived in Bremen for 6 or 7 years and has certain connections in the local area. After some contact, Lin Quan had a certain understanding of the character and conduct of the team captain. Sure enough, as William said, Fritz is a good old man who is easy to talk to. It just seems that his temper is a bit too good, and he lacks the feeling of an iron-blooded leader. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. The players chatted and exchanged various interesting stories and experiences during the holidays. After a while, the head coach brought the members of the coaching staff to the training ground and announced today's training plan. Because the off-season has just ended, most players have just recovered from their vacation. So the training intensity on the first day was not high, it was mainly recovery training. Looking at the players on the training field, Thomas Schaaf was thinking about the team's formation and play style choices for the new season. Bremen is a team that advocates offense, and their offensive firepower is also among the best in the Bundesliga. In the 2005-2006 season, Werder Bremen ranked first in both goals and goal difference in the Bundesliga. That season they scored a total of 79 goals, averaging 2.3 goals per game, with a goal difference of 42 goals. This data is 12 goals and 7 goals respectively more than the second-placed Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich's strength is obvious to all. It can snatch these two firsts from the Bundesliga giants. Werder Bremen's offensive firepower is evident. However, Bremen has always had a big problem, and that is that this team is not good at defending. They scored a lot of goals, but also conceded a lot. During the peak period of the 5 seasons from 04-09, Bremen could use more goals to cover up the problem of poor defense and conceding too many goals. However, starting from the 2009-10 season, Werder Bremen's overall strength began to decline. The team's offensive firepower began to decline, but the number of goals conceded did not decrease. As a result, Werder Bremen's record began to plummet, gradually falling into the relegation zone, and this season it even became a favorite for relegation. A very real question faces head coach Thomas Schaaf. In the new season, will Werder Bremen still play the same offensive football as before? Offensive football wins fans, defensive counterattacks win games. Defensive counterattack seems to be a safer choice, but the problem is that Thomas Schaaf is not a coach who is good at defense. He spent most of his time studying offensive tactics and formations, and was not good at defense, especially efficient defensive counterattacks. It is impossible to expect him to reach the defensive counterattack master level of Mourinho. Therefore, he did not dare to make drastic changes to Werder Bremen's previous tactics. If such a change is really made, it may not only fail to achieve the expected effect, but will also make the players overwhelmed and ultimately have the opposite effect. Therefore, the safest way is actually to make adjustments to the previous tactics and make some changes to the details of the team's offense and defense without moving the general framework. According to the current characteristics of the team, especially the large number of young players, good physical strength and drive, Thomas Schaaf made slight adjustments to the 433 formation that Werder Bremen had been using before, and evolved it into a 4141 formation. The 433 formation is a typical offensive formation, and the evolved 4141 not only has the offensive advantages of 433, but also makes up for the defense. The characteristic of this formation is that the winger position is withdrawn and placed in the position of the full midfielder. When defending, they participate in the defense of the midfield, forming a powerful interception line of 5 people in the midfield to stifle the enemy's attack. When attacking, use the wingers who are retreating to come in from behind and attack from both wings. At this time, the wide midfielder who retreated returned to the role of winger and formed a series with the forwards. The formation returned to the 433 formation, with 3 forwards in the frontcourt, and the offensive options were more abundant. This formation is not without its disadvantages, because the absence of 2 wingers has resulted in a sharp reduction in the number of people in the frontcourt, and the team cannot carry out high-intensity pressing and interception in the opponent's half. The arrangement of a single defensive midfielder will make the sides of the team's midfielder and backfield slightly empty, making it easier for opponents to find gaps. In addition, because the formation has become 4141, there are 4 lines in total. The distance control between each line is a very critical issue. If the distance is not controlled properly, it is easy for defensive gaps to appear. In this formation, the 3 most critical positions are the midfielder and the 2 full midfielders. The defensive midfielder is a free man in the midfield. He is the gate of the team's defense. Once he is broken through, the team's defense will directly face the threat of the enemy. While the 2 fullbacks assume certain defensive tasks, they are also the magic weapon for the team to open up the situation and complete the offense. Compared with the tool center who only serves as the fulcrum of the frontcourt, the full forwards on both sides have heavier offensive tasks. If they can't open up the situation, the team will fall into the predicament of being beaten passively. Fortunately, this is not the only option in Schaaf's toolbox. If the 4141 tactic fails, he can let the team continue to play 433 or 442. Asking for recommendations and monthly passes. Chapter 19. The system cheated again. On July 20, after 2 weeks of team training, the club attracted its first opponent in the warm-up match, Cottbus. For Werder Bremen, choosing Cottbus as the first opponent in the warm-up match was obviously a well-thought-out decision. This is a club from the Bundesliga too. They were briefly promoted to the Bundesliga and played for 2 seasons, but due to lack of strength, they were quickly relegated. This opponent is not strong, probably half a level weaker than Werder Bremen. Playing with them will help the team's young players build up their confidence. The team's old players have left too many in the new season and they have to rely on these young players to make a difference. However, the mentality of young players is not stable enough, and it is easy for them to collapse in the middle and late seasons. Just like Arsenal, which is crazy about securing the 4th place. Every year, it is as strong as a tiger in the first half of the season and like a dog in the second half. I don't know why, but suddenly collapses. In addition to helping the team's young players build confidence, by choosing a weaker opponent, their own rear line will not be greatly impacted, and they can focus more on offense and better test the ball. The results of the team's offensive tactics. In this game, Lin Quan and De Bruyne were both selected into the squad. The difference is that De Bruyne entered the starting lineup, while Lin Quan was only a substitute. Lin Quan's mentality was very calm about this. He didn't expect to get the starting position as soon as he came up. After all, his current physical fitness is not enough to play the whole game. It is much easier to be a substitute, come on at a critical moment in the second half, and take advantage of the opponent's reduced physical fitness to open up the situation than it is to start and fight with physically strong opponents. Ting ding, come on, keep an eye on you. Lin Quan pumped his fist to cheer De Bruyne up, and De Bruyne nodded shyly. The game started soon. A total of 23,000 spectators came to the Weser Stadium for this friendly match, and more than half of the seats were empty. This is not surprising, after all, the team has left many old players, and now it is playing friendly matches with lower-level leagues, which is not very attractive to fans. After the game started, Werder Bremen quickly took the initiative. Cottbus chose to retreat to their own half and play defensive counterattack. This is a very pragmatic choice. When a weaker team faces a strong team, if it rushes out to fight against the opponent without overestimating its capabilities, it will easily be defeated by the opponent. Especially when facing a team with strong offensive capabilities like Werder Bremen, if the defense is not strengthened and a tragedy is suffered by the opponent, it will have a very negative impact on the mentality of the team players in the new season. They really chose to defend. Assistant coach Rolf frowned and spoke nervously. Well, no surprise. Scharf was very calm, as if he had already anticipated his opponent's choice. There are too many defensive players in the opponent's backcourt. We can't penetrate the ground. We can only pass from the sideline, but the effect is probably not good. Another assistant coach, Hernbach, is also very worried. Breaking dense defense is a worldwide problem. He is very worried about whether these young guys on the field can cope with this problem. Now it depends on whether these young guys can withstand the pressure and open up the situation. Scharf sat on the coach's bench, folding his arms on his chest, calmly watching the performance of the players on the field. This and the next few warm-up games are important references to help him determine the starting lineup for the new season. Who has strong ability and outstanding performance can be easily seen in actual combat. The capable are promoted and the mediocre are demoted. This season Werder Bremen will resolutely implement this principle. Moreover, even if the team is temporarily unable to open up the situation, he is not worried because he still has a trump card in his hand that has not been played. Thinking of this, Scharf turned his head and looked at Lin Quan, who was sitting on the bench and watching the game intently. He was looking forward to what kind of surprise this little guy, who had surpassed countless others on the training ground, would bring to him in actual combat. On the bench, Lin Quan seemed to be watching the game with concentration. But if you look closely, you will find that the focus of his eyes is not on the playing field. Yes, Lin Quan was distracted. At the moment when the referee blew the whistle, the dog system, which had been silent for 2 months, cheated again. There was no ding sound, and there was no sudden task release or anything like that. But a perceptible module appeared in Lin Quan's consciousness. After Lin Quan curiously spread his consciousness, this module unfolded in his mind. After the module is opened, something similar to an operation interface appears inside. It looks like a game, and the protagonist of the game seems to be himself. Clicking on the player information column, what popped up was indeed his information. Name, Lin Quan. Age, 16 years and 153 days. Birthday, February 20th, 1996. Nationality, Spanish. Field position, TBD. Club, Barcelona. League, Bundesliga. Number of league appearances, 0. National team appearances, 0. Current template, Messi. The first half of the information was nothing special, but the last column surprised Lin Quan. The current template is easy to understand, but does the emergence of this word mean that the template of other football champions can be replaced in the future? Regarding this issue, Lin Quan sent an inquiry to the system. Theoretically, it is possible, but in practice it is not possible, because the previous ball champions have retired, their abilities have dropped significantly, and they are no longer able to reach the level of ball champions, so their attributes cannot be copied. Okay, this is in line with reality. After all, the King of Football template is not so easy to obtain. With the template of Peak Messi, Lin Quan is already very content. So he started studying other things on its interface. In addition to the player information column, there are two other modules. A task module and a system mol. This system is really lazy. With just these three things, how dare you claim to be the best player in the world? Having said that, he still curiously clicked on the task module and found that there was an unread task reminder in it. After clicking it, a system task pops up. Task introduction: the world champion did not appear in a day, just like Rome was not built in a day. They grew up through games and fights, and you are about to take the first step in your career. Task requirements: appear in the match between Werder Bremen and Cottbus, and lead the team to victory. Completing the task will reward you with 1 point. According to the introduction of the system, points are the key to opening the system mall. If you accumulate enough points, you can open the system mall. Not only that, the currency used to purchase items and equipment in the system mall is points. Points can only be obtained from completing system tasks and winning games. At first, Lin Quan didn't care much about this. He already had the template of Messi, so what kind of bicycle did he need? What could be more fragrant than a Messi template? So even without those junk gadgets in the system mall, he is still confident that he can become a new generation of ball king. However, after visiting the system mall, Lin Quan had to shout, "It smells so good." Apart from anything else, the talents in the system mall, such as injury immunity, top prediction, immortality, big heart, Mr. Key, etc., are really great. Chapter 20 Debut, wearing the number 10 jersey. Seeing these things, Lin Quan became excited. Imagine how terrifying a Messi with unlimited physical fitness and no injuries would be. On the basis of retaining the explosive power and breakthrough ability of 12 years ago, it also has the organizational dispatching ability of 19 years. How comprehensive should that be? Just become a god. And this is the full strength of Lin Quan in the future under the blessing of the system. He seems to have seen himself activating these talents and becoming the devil that everyone in football fears. The game continued, with Werder Bremen's offensive coming in waves. After getting over the initial nervousness, the performance of the team's young players improved visibly. Especially De Bruyne, who commanded the central midfielder, performed very well. The entire first half was almost De Bruyne's personal performance stage. He repeatedly used his excellent vision and passing to pass several threatening balls. But striker Niels Petersen, who was on loan from Bayern Munich, seemed to have forgotten to bring his shooting boots and wasted several good opportunities to score goals in a row. De Bruyne couldn't help but sigh. In addition to playing a huge role as a frontcourt metronome in the offense, De Bruyne also made outstanding contributions on the defensive end. After so many days of one-on-one training with Lin Quan, although De Bruyne still cannot guard Lin Quan, his defensive ability has been greatly improved compared to before. His active fighting and interception in the frontcourt nipped the opponent's counterattacks in the bud many times. It's definitely not that simple for ordinary players to break through from him. This surprised several coaches on the Werder Bremen coaching bench. This kid feels better than in the team training. Yes, his offensive ability is already top-notch. I didn't expect to have such excellent defensive ability. Being so active in fighting, not afraid of confrontation, and running without any physical exertion reminds me of a player. Who? Nedved. Everyone's hearts trembled when they heard this name. The Czech Iron Man is a hexagonal all-round warrior and a symbol of immortality. Does Coach Schaaf have such a high opinion of De Bruyne? After all, this is just a warm-up match. We still need to continue to observe. If his performance can continue to be so good, then our relegation may not be so difficult in the new season. Everyone nodded in unison. This season they rented a total of 3 players. Niels Petersen's performance was unsatisfactory, but De Bruyne gave them a huge surprise. Now only the young player introduced from Barcelona has not yet appeared. If Lin Quan's performance can exceed expectations, then the new season may really be able to achieve the goal of relegation. Cottbus quickly realized the threat of De Bruyne and strengthened his defense. This has reduced De Bruyne's ability to pass threatening balls. Not only that, when counterattacking, they consciously bypassed the center and launched counterattacks from both sides. This move worked quickly. After being hit by several threatening counterattacks, Werder Bremen's wing players began to become timid. They don't dare to participate in offense, but focus a lot of energy on defense. Without the participation of the full midfielders, Werder Bremen's offense began to lose its threat. As a result, the situation on the field fell into a stalemate. At the end of the first half, the score on the field was still 0-0. Neither side was able to break the opponent's goal. On the sidelines, Coach Schaaf stood up and walked to the locker room first. He is aware of the team's problems on the wing and is ready to make adjustments. Warm-up matches of this level usually receive very little attention in Asia. Especially when the Asian Youth Championship is in full swing, most viewers will choose to watch games involving their own national football teams. After all, they have a more immersive feeling. Therefore, on a domestic online live broadcast platform, only one niche anchor who loves football is live broadcasting this game. At the same time, no fewer than 10 anchors chose to broadcast live another Asian Youth Championship match between China U-22 and North Korea. The attention from both sides was not at the same level. The audience watching this friendly match were mainly some Werder Bremen fans and some old viewers who like to watch the European League, but because the 5 major leagues have not yet started, there is no ball to watch. During the intermission, the audience and the anchor also chatted with each other. Anchor, everyone else is broadcasting the national football matches, why don't you go and broadcast a friendly match of a Bundesliga team to gain popularity? Look, no one is watching. Seeing the audience's question, the anchor smiled and answered. I have a bad heart. I'm afraid my heart won't be able to bear it when I watch the national football matches. Hearing his answer, the audience in the live broadcast room was happy. In recent years, the strength of the national football team has been deteriorating, and competition results have plummeted. Especially last year, the national football team, which had high hopes, did not even qualify for the group stage of the Asian Cup, which deeply hurt the hearts of the fans. Damn, the rubbish national football team can't even win against North Korea. RNM, refund the money. National football team, are you worthy of us? My skills are not as good as others, my attitude is not as good as others, why don't I play football? Go home and raise pigs. This group of rubbish makes you angry just watching them play football. I see, the national football team is completely finished. You only know about it upstairs. Isn't the national football team finished a long time ago? We were having a good chat, but suddenly a large group of new viewers flooded into the live broadcast room. After these viewers entered the live broadcast room, they didn't even watch the content of the game and started yelling in the comment area. Huang Wei was quite happy to see the number of viewers in his live broadcast room soaring rapidly. When he looked at the comments section, they were all swearing, which really frightened him. But taking a closer look, it seemed that these people were not scolding him, but the national football team, which surprised him. So I took a look at the score next door. Sure enough, the national football team fell behind again. In the 43rd minute of the first half, the North Korean team scored a goal. The score of the national football team is currently 1:00. Other anchors saw that the national football team was lagging behind North Korea. A large number of viewers watching the national football game left the live broadcast room cursing and went to the originally unpopular live broadcast room next door. Come and see the high-level competitions in Europe to wash your eyes. Wash your eyes +1. Wash your eyes +2. Brothers, isn't the preseason match of a Bundesliga team at this level much more comfortable than watching a national football match? Indeed, without a quick-acting life-saving pill, who would watch the national football team? With so many new viewers coming all of a sudden, Huang Wei was both excited and nervous, so he put all his energy into explaining it seriously. He looked through the information of the two teams and suddenly let out a sigh. There is a young player on Werder Bremen's roster whose name looks like he is from China, and he seems to be on loan from Barcelona. WOC, is it true or not, a Barcelona player, Messi's teammate? That's awesome. Huh, I guess you bought it as a mascot, right? TCH, the guy upstairs is a Barcelona player. Does Barcelona need to buy a mascot? Whether it's a mascot or not, won't you know if he will play in the game? That's right. If he can play for Werder Bremen, he is not a mascot, but if he sits on the bench and has no chance to play, then he is definitely a mascot. Amid the doubts and expectations of the audience, the second half of the game began. Werder Bremen took the lead in making personnel adjustments. Lin Quan, wearing the number 10 jersey, came on and replaced the number 11 winger Elia. After seeing the number on Lin Qiuqiu's shirt, the live broadcast room was filled with excitement. WOC, number 10 jersey, are you planning to cultivate it as a core? I came from the youth training of La Masia, played as a winger, and wore the number 10 jersey. Why do you look like a hot man? The height is about the same. He happens to be 9 years younger than Boss May, so he is the perfect successor. Then let's see if this Messi successor can succeed Messi. Chapter 21 beat 6 people in a row and copy Messi's goal of the century. After Lin Quan came on the court, De Bruyne immediately passed the ball to him. Others don't know how powerful Lin Quan is, but De Bruyne, who was abused in training and doubted his life, knows it all too well. After getting the ball, Lin Quan ran quickly on the wing with the ball in his hand. The opponent's left midfielder wearing jersey number 13 immediately stepped forward to defend. I saw that Lin Quan was relatively young and had an Asian face. The other side looked down upon him, as if they thought Asian players couldn't play football. I saw him approaching Lin Quan while spouting rubbish. Boy, the football field is not suitable for you Asians, you should go back and play table tennis. Lin Quan glanced at him, smiled and said to him, I will pass you on your left. What? This brat. How dare he provoke himself? Before he could reply, he saw Lin Quan's right shoulder sink slightly, his body tilted to the right, and the ball came to his right foot. He actually wanted to break through from his left side. Kotbas's winger subconsciously chose to block the breakthrough line on his left side, thinking that no matter what, he could not let the opponent break through from his left side. He can't afford to lose this person. However, just when he thought Lin Quan would break through from his left, the ball returned to Lin Quan's left foot. At this time, Lin Quan's center of gravity had already adjusted at the moment he moved the ball. Damn it, he's lying to me, he's going to break through from my right. So, he tried his best, adjusted his body again, and threw himself to the right in a very twisted posture, trying to stop Lin Quan's breakthrough. However, when his people rushed to the right, they found that Lin Quan was no longer there. Oops, he was deceived. Number 13 secretly thought that something was wrong. He raised his head and looked behind him, and sure enough he found that Lin Quan had already entered his own half. He literally passed himself to his left. Damn it, what is that idiot Komal doing? How could he be let go so easily by a 16-year-old brat? On the coaching bench of Kotbas, he saw that his main left midfielder was easily broken through by the opponent with just a few simple passes. The team's head coach was furious. Looking back at the home team's coaching bench, seeing Lin Quan completing an easy and freehand pass on the field, head coach Scharf and the two assistant coaches looked at each other, and the three of them couldn't help but laugh. This kid, when you look at him, he feels different from others. Yes, I feel the same way. Other players are so good that they would like to use all kinds of martial arts and work hard to succeed once, but for him, it is as simple as eating and drinking. In front of him, the defensive players are like wooden stakes, which have no effect at all. Originally, I was worried that his extraordinary skills could only be used in training, but I didn't expect that he would dare to use them in competitions, and he used them so skillfully without hesitation or fear at all. I also discovered that this boy has a maturity that does not match his age. Although Lin Quan only made one breakthrough after taking the field, everyone on the coaching bench was completely relieved of him. They already knew Lin Quan's technical abilities. The only thing they were worried about was whether he dared to use these skills on the field. Now that they saw Lin Quan showing no stage fright and boldly using these extraordinary skills, their hearts fell to the ground. 2 of the 3 players on loan have met or exceeded their expectations. This surprised the coaching staff, and they also had some illusions about their results in the new season. While completing the task of relegation, can you imagine making a breakthrough in the cup? In the live broadcast room, after Lin Quan appeared on the stage and completed a breakthrough, some fans who supported Lin Quan started to criticize it before those who said he was a mascot. Where is the person who said that my brother Lin is the mascot? Come out and take a few steps. This sharp breakthrough, if you change the jersey, I believe him even if you say he is Messi. Also a mascot, can your mascot be so extraordinary? The people who were affected by it were very unconvinced. Why are you so proud? The opponent is just a player from a rubbish team in the 2nd division of Germany. The number 13 player opposite doesn't know how to play football. What's so great about passing him? If you have the ability, let him have another try. Huang Wei ignored the scolding in the comment area. He stared at the computer screen intently, not wanting to leave a single picture behind. Seeing Lin Quan break through his own winger, Cottbus midfielder immediately approached him. At the same time, the left back also stepped forward to block his path with the ball, preparing to cooperate with the midfielder to block his attack and counterattack on the spot. Lin Quan's speed did not slow down and he continued to dribble forward. When his back waist extended his feet to intercept, he passed the opponent with a horizontal pass and cut inside into the opponent's rib area. At this time, Cottbus's 2 central defenders had to step forward to attack him. In this position, he must not be allowed to pass the ball out. As long as he passes it out, the opponent's forward can hit the goal directly after getting the ball. Forward Nils Petersen, who is on loan from Bayern, has poor shooting skills but is very flexible in his movement. At this time, he had found a gap in the opponent's penalty area, and Lin Quan passed the ball out single-handedly. So Petersen started to reach out and ask, shouting in his heart, pass the ball, pass the ball, pass the ball quickly. But Lin Quan, who was being double-teamed, could not see his gesture. Even if he saw it, he might not be able to transmit it at this time. In front of him were almost all the legs of the opponent's defenders, so densely packed that no gaps could be seen. Seeing that his own center-back blocked the opponent's breakthrough route, the chasing midfielder immediately made a tackle. Even if he gives the opponent a free kick in the front court at this position, he still has to show off to the opponent so that this kid doesn't dare to be so arrogant. However, Lin Quan seemed to have eyes on the back of his head. When he put down the shovel, he jumped slightly and escaped the opponent's interception. Messi has often been tackled from behind by defenders in the professional arena. Lin Quan, who has 8 years of experience with Messi, has already anticipated his opponent's intentions. However, because he had to avoid the opponent's tackle, the ball left Lin Quan a little far away. This allowed the opponent's fullback to see the opportunity to grab the ball and immediately stretched out his long legs to intercept the ball. But before he could touch the ball, his other foot had already taken the lead and kicked the ball away. The fullback who couldn't control his kick hit Lin Quan, causing Lin Quan to stagger a little. The referee has put the whistle into his mouth. As long as Lin Quan falls, he will blow the foul whistle. The opponent missed the ball just now, but kicked someone. It was a definite foul. He could see it clearly nearby. However, adhering to the principle of favorable offense, Lin Quan did not blow the whistle immediately before Lin Quan completely lost control of the ball. Lin Quan propped up the grass with his hands before falling down, quickly stood up again, and took the ball away before the opponent's central defender destroyed the ball. At this time, his dribbling route has changed from vertical dribbling to horizontal dribbling. Another central defender saw that he was about to enter the penalty area and immediately ran towards him, trying to knock him with his shoulder or squeeze him out of position, thus losing control of the ball. However, Lin Quan moved his body to the right, avoided the opponent's impact, took a long step forward, and entered the penalty area. At this time, only the opponent's right back and goalkeeper were left in front of him. Cottbus's right back did not dare to foul in the penalty area. He put his hands behind his back and stared at the ball at Lin Quan's feet, ready to block it at any time. Lin Quan looked at the goalkeeper's position, moved the ball to the right, accelerated suddenly, and broke through diagonally to the right side of the goal. This move was too fast, and the opponent's right back couldn't keep up with the rhythm. He immediately lost his defensive position and had no choice but to fall to the ground and make a tackle. If this ball is tackled, he will be the hero of the team. If he didn't tackle the ball but kicked someone, he would definitely get a red meal and immediately become the team sinner. The goalkeeper saw that Lin Quan had moved away from the angle and was ready to hit the goal at any time. So he immediately squatted down, dropped his hands, and quickly stepped forward to block the opponent's shooting angle while preparing to save. At this time, Lin Quan, who was moving at full speed, had little time and angle to adjust his body posture. So he could only fall to the ground and shovel the shot before the goalkeeper completely blocked the angle. The ball rolled from the right side of the goalkeeper at an extremely fast speed. The goalkeeper subconsciously blocked it with his feet, but it was still a step too late. Looking back, I saw that the ball had rolled into the goal and was rolling in the net. Almost everyone on the sidelines, the benches of the home team and the visiting team, and the coaching bench all stood up and stared at Cottbus' goal in stunned silence. This goal reminded them of Messi's goal of the century in the 2010-2011 Champions League semi-finals between Barcelona and Real Madrid. I never expected that someone could copy it. Chapter 22, the net worth has soared, even €20 million may not buy it. After the goal, before Lin Quan could get up from the ground, De Bruyne and other Werder Bremen players rushed over crazily one by one, pounced on him and formed a Rohan. The barrage in the live broadcast room was also boiling at this moment. Damn, how did he do that? Is this a game I can see for free? It's so handsome. He almost took on the opponent's entire defense line by himself. Where is the person who just said that Lin Quan is the mascot? Come out and take a few steps. They definitely didn't dare to come out. They asked Lin Quan to pass another person, but Lin Quan passed the opponent's defender all in one breath. I just like being slapped in the face so happily and directly. I think this is a tribute to Messi. Messi also scored a goal similar to this. It's a bit similar, but Messi broke through from the center, and Lin Quan's ball broke through from the side. In addition, Messi is facing the top club Real Madrid, so relatively speaking, the ball scored by Messi has a higher gold content. Reminding me of Professor Boo's century-level assist. I think of Casillas's gesture of showing his hands to his teammates. It's so similar to what Cottbus' goalkeeper is doing right now. I feel sorry for my Real Madrid, being dragged out and whipped to death again. Distressed +1. Distressed +2. If the audience in the live broadcast room didn't know who Lin Quan was before, then from this moment on. The audience who watched this game will all remember the young man who broke through the opponent's entire defense line from the side. Not only the audience in the DOU live broadcast room, but also the Werder Bremen fans sitting on the spot watching the game were also impressed by Lin Quan's performance just now. Many viewers gave Lin Quan applause and were still asking each other for information about Lin Quan. Because the transfer period of the summer split has just begun and will not end until the end of August. The team's recruitment work is still in its infancy, so Lin Quan and several other transferred or loaned players were not allowed to make a public appearance at the Weser Stadium, and no welcoming ceremony was held for them. This made many fans still not know who Lin Quan was. After asking each other, they found out that he was loaned by the team from the Barcelona youth team. It turns out he is a player from the La Masia youth training camp. No wonder he has such strong ability. As soon as they heard that Lin Quan came from the Barcelona youth training, Werder Bremen fans immediately understood. Hey guys, is it possible for our club to buy this breakthrough young man? He is still so young, so Barcelona's asking price shouldn't be very high, right? How great it would be if such a good player was not on loan but one of Werder Bremen's own players. I'm afraid that's not possible. Looking at his outstanding performance, his worth will not be less than €20 million, right? We don't have that much money to buy such expensive players. Werder Bremen is not a giant, just an ordinary small and medium-sized club. Their highest transfer record in team history was in the summer of 2009, when they introduced the opposing winger Marco Marin from Mönchengladbach for a high price of €8.5 million. Under normal circumstances, their transfer budget is only about €15 million per season. To buy Lin Quan, they need at least €20 million. Even if they don't buy any other players, they can't afford Lin Quan. What's more, Barcelona is not a fool. Barcelona may not sell a player who performs so well and is so young. Therefore, Werder Bremen fans can only think about it in their hearts, but there is no way to take action. Being celebrated by their opponents in front of their own goal, Cottbus's players were a little temperamental. Their goalkeeper spread his hands and looked at his defender with an angry expression on his face. What he was angry about was how the team's defense could make such a mistake. How could the opponent play with the entire defense and pass them one by one? The defenders had slumped expressions and stood with their hands on their hips, staring blankly at Lin Quan, who was pinned under the crowd. They also couldn't figure out why so many people couldn't stop this little man. Obviously his breakthrough looked ordinary, and he didn't use any fancy moves at all when he broke through. There is no such thing as riding a bicycle, riding a bull's tail, passing a pendulum over others, etc. It was just a matter of dialing the ball, smashing the ball, changing direction, and then they were passed. But the simpler it is, the more extraordinary it is. The football seemed to be alive under his feet, as if he was moving his fingers as easily as he could. To reach this level, you need a strong sense of the ball. And such top-notch ball sense is often not acquired through training, but comes naturally. This is a talent that cannot be envied. The game continued, and the Cottbus team, which was a little dazed by Lin Quan's goal, became a little afraid to attack. On the other hand, Werder Bremen, after the score was rewritten, the young players in the team completely let go of their psychological burden and played better and better. Especially Lin Quan and De Bruyne. The two usually train together and have a good understanding of each other. The close cooperation between him and De Bruyne made Cottbus's attack on the left completely useless. Not only that, because the opponent was afraid of Lin Quan's breakthrough, they deployed heavy troops on the left to defend Lin Quan. This left Cottbus defense on the right side very empty. After seeing this, Lin Quan did not indulge in his breakthrough performance. In the 65th minute of the game, Werder Bremen stole the ball in the backcourt. After Captain Fritz intercepted the ball, he quickly passed the ball to De Bruyne. De Bruyne split the ball and gave it to Lin Quan. After Lin Quan got the ball, he strode towards the opponent's half with the ball. When the Cottbus players saw him taking the ball, two people immediately came up to outflank him. At the same time, the opponent's midfielder and fullback also took up their positions, not giving him any room to break through. Lin Quan had already observed the opponent's defensive position when he received the ball. Therefore, after getting rid of the first defensive player with the ball, he did not dribble too much. After attracting the opponent's players to double-team him, Lin Quan raised his foot and passed the ball. De Bruyne is the kind of superstar who can become a top midfielder in the future, and he has a high football IQ. He saw through the opponent's defensive problems, so after passing the ball to Lin Quan, he boldly moved forward and reached the top of the opponent's penalty area. After Lin Quan saw his running position, he gave him a thumbs up in his heart. He made a sideways move, avoided a defensive player's attack, and sent a wonderful pass to the ground. De Bruyne picked up the ball outside the penalty area. The ball was passed very comfortably and with just the right intensity. He barely needs to adjust after getting the ball, and he can hit the goal directly. So, after De Bruyne looked up and observed the goalkeeper's position, he decisively took a shot. Lin is familiar with De Bruyne's shooting skills, and this position is very close to the position where he usually practices free kicks. Therefore, after he completed the shot and saw the arc of the football flying out, Lin Quan felt that the ball was there. Sure enough, the ball flew out of a beautiful arc, bypassed the goalkeeper's fingers, and hung into the net from the dead corner of the goal. De Bruyne scored his first goal in Werder Bremen, and Lin Quan also got his first assist in the team. I would like to ask for some recommendation votes. Chapter 23 The Affirmation of the Team Leader. After De Bruyne scored the goal, he ran toward the sidelines and pointed at Lin Quan, asking Lin Quan to come over and celebrate with him. He was able to score this goal. In addition to the high quality of his own shooting, the remaining half of the credit must be attributed to Lin Quan's pass. If he hadn't attracted a large number of defenders and seized the open pass, De Bruyne would not have had such a comfortable chance to hit the goal. Lin Quan ran over with a smile, stretched out his hand to rub De Bruyne's hair, and praised. "Kevin, that shot you just shot was so beautiful. Thank you, you passed the ball very well too. Teammates also ran over to join in the celebration at this time, high-fiving De Bruyne for scoring the goal and Lin Quan for assisting. Captain Fritz even gave the two a warm hug. The outstanding performance of Lin Quan and De Bruyne in this game has been recognized by their veteran players. Well done, boys. Continue to maintain this state, score more goals and win more games for the team in the new season. Thank you, Captain, we will work hard, just wait and see. Lin Quan said generously and confidently, and De Bruyne on the side nodded his head. Me too. The captain was very satisfied with the answers of the two men. After the celebration, he loudly called his teammates back to their positions and reminded them not to relax their vigilance just because they were leading 2-0. There are many tragedies in history where teams were reversed due to lax defense when they were leading. Perhaps the most famous one was the champagne served at halftime on Istanbul night. Lin Quan and De Bruyne are not the kind of people who get carried away as soon as they score a goal. They quickly return to their positions. The game starts again. Cottbus, which was already 2 goals behind, did not accept its fate. Instead, it put down the psychological baggage of fear of losing and invested more troops in the attack. However, Werder Bremen's 41-41 tactic has 5 midfielders when defending, which greatly limits their offense. The two sides struggled fiercely in the midfield, and it was difficult for Cottbus players to hold the ball, let alone organize an attack. As a last resort, Cottbus gave up the short pass penetration in the middle and began to use the traditional long pass tactic to deal with Werder Bremen. At this time, the weakness of Werder Bremen's single midfielder began to be exposed. They lacked protection for the ribs on both sides and gave the opponent 2 chances in 5 minutes. Fortunately, the opponent's ability to seize opportunities was very poor, and neither of these 2 goals resulted in a shot. After realizing the team's defensive problems, Coach Schaff called Captain Fritz over for a face-to-face discussion. After Fritz returned to the field, he took a step back and became a central defender. At the same time, the forward line moved backward, and Werder Bremen's formation also became 541. This change made the head coach of the visiting team want to curse. You are a great Bundesliga team, but you actually played a huddled defense with 5 defenders against our Bundesliga team. Want more face? Faced with the angry glare from the visiting team coach, Coach Schaff was calm and composed, without any blush or embarrassment. Friendly matches like this are meant to practice various tactics for the team. If you don't dare to try it because you are concerned about the impact and face, then there is no point in playing such a match. Moreover, the 541 formation is not a huddle defense, it is also another offensive routine. When they play a 541 formation, their opponents will definitely overwhelm their half. This gives the wingers a lot of space to sprint, making them more threatening when counterattacking. Coincidentally, they have such a very capable winger in their lineup. Therefore, for Schaff, taking a step back is actually for better offense. The counterattack Schaff expected soon came to light. In the 78th minute of the game, Werder Bremen launched a quick counterattack from the backcourt. Fritz, who was playing as a central defender, saw the huge gap in the opponent's backcourt and directly made a long diagonal pass, lofting the ball into the opponent's half. Lin Quan had already started when the ball was transferred, and was already on par with the opponent's defender the moment Fritz passed the ball. The opponent's defender started a step too late and couldn't catch up with him. He could only raise his hand to signal that he was offside while chasing in vain behind him. The linesman turned a blind eye to the defensive player's offside signal. He could see clearly that Lin Quan was not offside at the moment of passing the ball. It was just because he started the ball too quickly that it gave people the illusion that he was almost offside. The goalkeeper chose to attack at the first opportunity. Such a single goal would almost die if left in the small penalty area. The ball is almost far away from the two, but Lin Quan's speed has already reached full speed, and the goalkeeper has just started. So, before the goalkeeper touched the ball, Lin Quan touched the ball first. I saw him poke the ball with his toe, and the ball passed under the goalkeeper's crotch like a naughty elf. With a plop, the goalkeeper sat down on the ground. He had already guessed the opponent's intention when he saw Lin Quan poke the ball. But his movements were half a beat too slow and failed to prevent the opponent from penetrating his own wicket. Lin Quan bypassed the fallen goalkeeper and caught up with the football in front of the goal line. Because the defensive player was still some distance away from him, after stopping the ball, he glanced at the defensive player before kicking the ball into the goal. The score was rewritten to 3 o'clock, and Werder Bremen completely sealed the victory. Lin, you run so fast. Captain Fritz happily ran over and hugged Lin Quan. The ball was counted as an assist for him, but if it was passed to someone else, he might not be able to get the assist. Captain, you passed it well. Lin Quan replied with a smile. Nils on the side felt quite unhappy when he heard the captain praising Lin Quan. He actually ran out of space just now, but Lin was all alone and even passed the goalkeeper. Naturally, it was impossible to pass the ball back to him. Lin Quan is not selfless to that extent, especially when he found out that when he and De Bruyne scored, Niers did not participate in the celebration, and he had no good impression of Niers. Niers felt unhappy. After all, he was the team's real forward, and he was on loan from a giant like Bayern. For Werder Bremen, he is marrying off and helping the poor, and the other party should support him. So after the game started, he relied on his status and loudly asked for the ball, especially when Lin Quan and De Bruyne got the ball. The two players who were on loan like him both scored goals, and Lin Quan scored twice as a substitute. If he, a true striker who plays the whole game, doesn't score, where will he lose his face? And if the ball is taken away from them, they will not be able to continue scoring goals. Lin Quan didn't like Nils very much and pretended not to notice his request. But De Bruyne is an honest kid. When he saw Niers asking for the ball, he passed the ball to him. It's a pity that the Cottbus players, who were beaten 3-0, were already filled with anger. Niers neither has De Bruyne's outstanding ball-playing ability nor Lin Quan's abnormal passing ability. He picked up the ball and was double-teamed and tackled while carrying it. Not only did he quickly lose the ball, he was also turned upside down by the opponent's tackler. His thin body had no advantage in a physical fight with the opponent's tall central defender, and I don't know where he got the confidence to dribble the ball. Schaff, who was on the sidelines, saw Niers being knocked down constantly by the opponent and was worried that he was injured, so he replaced him in advance. Also substituted was De Bruyne, who played most of the game. He was also substituted. When Niers came off the field, the fans at the scene had no expression. But when De Bruyne came off the field, the fans gave him warm applause. Please vote for recommendation. Chapter 24, Unexpected Popularity. Even Messi was shocked. After De Bruyne left the field, the organizational quality of Werder Bremen's midfield and frontcourt declined. In addition, the players' physical fitness had dropped a lot, so the score did not change again until the final whistle sounded. Although Cottbus tried very hard to score a goal to save face, facing the opponent's five-guard formation with no ethics, their offense seemed to hit a wall and there was no way to score. Therefore, they had to accept the result of losing 0-3 to Werder Bremen in the away game. After the game, Schaff took the players around the field to thank the fans for their support. Although the attendance rate is not high, every fan who can come to watch the game is worthy of gratitude. Their income from buying home tickets every season accounts for about 30% of Werder Bremen's total income. They are the real bread and butter for the team. Because it was a friendly match, there was no post-match press conference, and not many reporters were present. Only reporters from several local media in Bremen were present. Because of his outstanding performance, a reporter from the Bremen Citizen found Lin Quan outside the stadium tunnel and wanted to interview him. However, the team's press officer declined media interviews because Lin Quan was underage. Lin, you have to receive relevant training after you go back. Dealing with reporters is inevitable for professional players. Outside the tunnel of the locker room, team manager Alofs patted Lin Quan on the shoulder and said to him. He watched the whole game from the box and was very satisfied with Lin Quan's performance in the game, so he paid more and more attention to Lin Quan. Thank you manager for the reminder, I will go to the training class. Compared with Lin Quan, De Bruyne, who is already an adult, cannot use the excuse of being a minor to avoid interviews. As a last resort, he accepted interviews with two newspapers, the Bremen Citizen and the Bremen Zeitung. Kevin, congratulations on winning this game. How do you feel about your performance in this game? If you were to rate yourself, how many points would you give? After hearing the reporter's question, De Bruyne thought seriously for a while and then answered. I didn't play very well in this game. If I were to score, I think I could only score 75 points. I didn't expect you to be so strict with yourself. The fans think you are the best player in this game. Reporters were a little surprised when they heard De Bruyne's answer. In their view, De Bruyne showed a very high level on both offense and defense in this game. His appearance made up for Werder Bremen's problems on the offensive end after losing Ozil. Moreover, his active return to defense also reduced the defensive pressure on Captain Fritz and made the team's defense more stable. This kind of performance can get at least a high score of 85 points or more. No, I'm not the best behaved one. So who do you think performed best? De Bruyne replied without hesitation. I think my teammate Lin Quan performed better than me. He scored an incredible goal and created threats many times. His role on the offensive end is unparalleled. The reporter got the answer he wanted, so he went to interview Werder Bremen's captain and other players with satisfaction. As a result, these people's answers were surprisingly consistent, and they all believed that the MVP of this game should be given to Lin Quan. There is no doubt that Lin is a player with unlimited potential. You know, he is only 16 years old and he still has huge room for growth. I think if he continues such crazy performances, maybe in a few years, people will compare him with superstars like Messi and Ronaldo. Captain Fritz has a higher evaluation. He even believes that Lin Quan threatens the dominance of Melo in football. However, this statement is not recognized by many people yet. After all, Lin Quan only played in a friendly match and did not really prove himself in the 5 major leagues. However, as supporters of Werder Bremen, the 2 newspapers Bremen City News and Bremen Daily are very optimistic about Lin Quan's future. Not only did they truthfully report the team members' praise for Lin Quan, they also invited Werder Bremen's legendary captain Marco Bode to comment on Lin Quan. Yeah, I've seen the lad play and he's really impressive. Fritz said that he will be able to compete with Messi and Ronaldo in the future. I am not sure that he will be able to achieve such an achievement. After all, there are too many surprises in a young player's career. However, if he can stay healthy, not be troubled by injuries, and continue to strengthen his dribbling and breakthrough, then at least at the winger position, he will be a historical level existence. Everyone may not care too much about the evaluation of ordinary Werder Bremen players. But the team's legends have given Lin Quan such high praise, which means that everyone can no longer ignore him. Some fans who did not go to watch the game asked other fans around them for news about Lin Quan. Others choose to go to video websites to watch replays of the game. You won't know if you don't look at it, but you will be shocked when you look at it. They were all shocked by Lin Quan's several sharp breakthroughs in the game. How could there be a player with such a sharp breakthrough? They couldn't wait to share it with their relatives and friends, so they cut out several wonderful scenes from the game, especially those when Lin Quan broke through the defenders, and sent them to their friends. Originally this was just shared by Werder Bremen fans themselves, but unexpectedly more and more people shared these videos. Almost everyone who saw it couldn't help but share it with others, so it spread to others, and in just a few days, it became popular on the internet. Barcelona, the capital of Catalonia, Spain. In the Barcelona team's training base, the players who had just finished training for the day walked to the locker room in 2s and 3s, talking and laughing. Iniesta, Xavi and Busquets, who just finished the European Cup and returned to the team 2 weeks later than other players, fell behind. The 3 of them seemed to be watching something and talking while walking. It looks like Messi. Busquets, known as a professor, frowned and analyzed seriously. Well, it is indeed similar. The start of this step, the smash, and the way he passes are all very similar. Iniesta and Xavi looked at each other. Even Professor Bu said this. It seems to be true. No wonder this short video has such a name. What are you talking about? At this time, Messi turned back curiously from the front and saw the 3 people gathering together to discuss something, so he asked curiously. Leo, come and see this. Iniesta, who has the best relationship with Messi, stretched out his hand to call him over, and then handed him the tablets in the hands of several people. What are you looking at? Messi doesn't know what they are doing. Is there another funny video? Some players on the team like to watch some funny videos to relieve their stress before the big game, but the new season hasn't started yet, and they haven't started playing the game yet. You'll know just by looking at it. Messi looked down and saw a short video on his tablet. The title of the short video was exaggerated. The player who looks most like Messi in history. Messi shrugged. These days, there are too many Messis using his name to attract attention, and he is almost immune to it. However, He still clicked on the video, wanting to see how the player who is said to be the most like him in history actually resembles him. After clicking on the video, the scene that appeared was a match between the two teams. A young player wearing a green jersey broke through from the side, past 6 opposing defenders, and scored while falling to the ground. Messi was stunned. How can they be so similar? Please vote for recommendation.